Hey everybody, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's pick a card, I'm gonna spoil you guys with some compliments. I have a feeling some good things are gonna come out in today's reading. So if you've been feeling like a general sense of low self-esteem, or you're not feeling too good about yourself or anything like that, I'm gonna tell you what makes you great. I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't feel that way. And I'm gonna tell you why you should have total confidence in yourself and complete and utter you should be owning your talents, essentially, right? So we're going to be getting into what makes you unique, great, talented. If it does get into the territory what makes you physically attractive, we can get into that too. I can pull physical traits. Now that I'm saying it, I think we'll pull physical traits. So let me spoil you with compliments and tell you why you're beautiful. Let's do that today. So we have 5 groups in front of us today to get into this reading. The way a pick a card works is you're going to select one of these cards or one of these animals on these cards. And once you select that animal, we're going to, you go to the timestamps in the description box. There will be groups and timestamps next to those groups. Each group 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, will have a corresponding timestamp. You just click that timestamp and it'll fast forward you to your reading. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to show you the animals one by one up close, and then we will get into the reading. So let's see. For group 1, your animal is Dragonfly. You guys could also be attracted to the card in general, maybe not the animal, but the card speaks to you, something like that. But yeah, and then group 2, the Hummingbird. You can also just pick what animal you think most represents you. And then we have group 3, the Crocodile. Group 4, the Fire Ant. And last, group 5, we have the wolf. So take all the time you need to pick your card today. I know I normally have crystals, but today we're doing cards. And take all the time you need. Pause the video here if you need to. And without further ado, I'm going to get into the reading, starting with group number 1, the Dragonfly. Hey, group 1, if you selected the Dragonfly, let's get into your reading. Let's see, what do I want to pull first? Let's get the Astro cards out. Not quite sure how these are going to work in today's reading, but I definitely feel called to use them. So let's get 2 Astro Oracle, Star Codes Astro Oracle cards out on the table for you guys. We have Second House, and we have Retrograde. Cool. Okay, and I'm gonna pull some playing cards for you guys as well. Let's see, let's get some playing cards for group 1. What playing cards need to come out for me to spoil them with compliments? What do I need to say to group 1 to get them to either believe in themselves or to just have a little bit of a self-esteem boost today? We have 3 of Spades and we have 3 of Hearts. Let's see. Then, I've been really loving this deck lately. I used it on my tarot party, but let's use these tarot cards to pull for the rest of today's reading. So let's get some tarot cards to help us spoil group 1. Let them know how amazing they are. We have 9 of Swords, we have King of Cups, we have 9 of Cups reversed, and we have 6 of Pentacles. Okay, I think we can push these up a little bit, and then are these all they're all kind of all in the shot, huh? Let's see, I just realized it's gonna be kind of crowded, but that's okay. Okay, so let's get into your reading. Okay, so for those of you who chose the Dragonfly, let's get into it. First thing I want to point out with the 3 of Hearts, you guys are extremely loyal. You're as loyal as they come. I feel like when you guys bond with someone, you're extremely committed. You take that union very seriously. And I think that's something that you really should be proud of, honestly. There's not a lot of people out there who are willing to commit and have a loyal union. A lot of people who cheat, a lot of people who, aren't that committed in their partnerships at all. There's people who don't take them seriously. I think there's a lot of people who don't put value on the sanctity of a relationship or a marriage or something like that, but you guys do. Like when you're committed for life. Like it's one of those things. It's just if someone falls in love with you and you fall in love with them, there's an unbreakable bond. I'm almost feeling and seeing a few different things for you guys. First of all, I think that when the next person you date that you feel really committed to and you say you're going to make that commitment, that's for life. So if you guys have been getting a lot of readings saying you're going to meet like a future spouse soon or something like that, be aware that commitments coming in the future, especially in regard to love, could be permanent in a way that is going to feel so like it's like a soul union, right? There's this feeling that whatever's coming next, there's this permanence to it, right? And it's all because you guys have this sense of commitment to your partnerships. You are the ones who are not afraid of deeper intimacy. A lot of people are. A lot of people are emotionally avoidant. A lot of people are, like play that hot and cold game, whatever. You guys are fully in. Like when you love someone, you are not afraid to share intimacy. You are emotionally available. And I see that's a really big deal because what I'm seeing here with the Three of Spades is you've overcame significant betrayals in your life. And I'm talking big betrayals. I'm talking you were committed, you were loyal, and someone totally betrayed you in an extreme way. Three of Spades, just like Three of Hearts is that commitment and love. Three of Spades is that ripping apart of that same intense commitment. And I do see you guys have overcome this and tremendously, right? You guys might think that, you might still be in this review process, right? For some of you are in this review process. You're thinking like, man, I don't know if I can ever love again. I don't know if I can ever open up again because you're in this review energy. This is a good thing. Being in this retrograde energy right now is a good thing. It might not mean things are coming in right now, but it also means you're not ready for those things to come in right now. For those of you who are out of this feeling in general, I see that you've come out way stronger, like way more strong, way stronger, something like that. You've come out stronger. You've come out with a renewed sense of yourself, almost to the point where you're saying like, it's almost like you guys are ready to like, if someone's going to betray you again, how do I put this? You're still going to commit fully. Like there's this feeling that you're not giving up on this sense of union in love. That's something so powerful and that you guys have that not a lot of people have. A lot of people get burned and they never go back. A lot of people get burned and they go, I'm never opening up again. And that's why we have a loveless society. Sorry. Like that's why we have people who can't commit. Honestly, because they've been burned and then they don't trust their partner and they think their partner's cheating on them or they're very paranoid or something like that. Not you guys. You guys, even though you have been betrayed before, you really review that betrayal in a way where you've really processed that information. You guys have the ability to psychoanalyze yourself into your own healing, right? This is like shadow work on I want to say on acid. For some reason, it feels like shadow work on acid. Maybe you guys feel like that when you're working on yourself, like it's just this big, giant, shadowy hallucination in your own mind, something like that. And when you're going through it, it's just like this crazy thing, but at the same time, it builds this solidity in you and this determination of your own values. I mean, you guys are, how do I put this? Like, you're lovers. You're ultimately lovers, and you've had a lot of obstacles in your path to love, but you never let those stand in your way. And I feel like even if you have to review those betrayals, even if you take time to look into them, and even if you analyze them, you still keep an open and loving heart, and you're not afraid to create true intimacy with people. I would say even your friendships have a more intimate bond to them. People really feel like they can connect with you on a very intimate level. I also think that you attract other loyal people to you. So this is the kind of thing here that's really interesting. It's like loyalty breeds loyalty. Someone who wants to commit brings in people who want to commit. And that's very true for you guys. Nine of Swords and King of Cups here, these two cards, talk about your ability to ease other people's anxieties, right? King of Cups in this particular reading, I normally see this as a different type of energy, but in this particular reading, I'm getting strong empathetic vibes, like strong empathy, strong resonating with someone else's issues. But at the same time, with the Nine of Swords here and with the King of Cups, it's in a way that's not absorbing those issues. So you guys do have this ability, and if you don't have this yet, you will. It's you're going to learn how to use your empathy in a way where you don't absorb the trauma and anxiety of others, and you're able to alleviate them. I really feel with this being next to the Three of Hearts, you guys have this ability in your deepest connections, right? You're that rock. I want to say that you guys are that rock that people can come to either cry or release emotions or talk about their traumas or talk about their issues. There's this feeling that you are so incredibly stable and centered in yourself that people are just super attracted to you because of that, right? That's something to be proud of. Honestly, that's something to be very proud of. I feel like you guys underestimate your ability to support others, especially. There's a lot of ways you support others, right? People rely on you, and I think you guys don't see it. I think you guys maybe feel like maybe you know what it is? I think people don't necessarily show their appreciation. That could be something that's coming through. Or you guys just don't see it. Like maybe people are showing their appreciation. Maybe they're saying like, oh, you were such a good friend for me in that time, and I really relied on you, and you were that shoulder to cry on. But maybe you guys are just not accepting the compliment, or maybe you don't hear it or something like that. I also see with second house resources and Six of Pentacles, something you're really blessed with is you're always going to have that protection in money, financial matters. There's this feeling that you're always going to have money. You're always going to have resources. I honestly feel like you guys are my type that, how do I put this? That like, whatever way you think of to make money, it's like you always make money at that thing. It's like you've never done any, and this is something other people don't have. You know, this is something that makes you a little bit more unique than others. A lot of people, myself included sometimes, think of ways to make money and they just don't pan out. You know, you can try to make money as much as you want and it just won't pan out because there's only one way you're meant to achieve a certain amount of income, something like that. You guys, whatever you touch turns to gold. Whatever you touch, you take gold away from it. There's this feeling that you will always have enough wealth and you're independently wealthy. You don't need to rely on someone else's wealth or someone paying for you or something like that. You guys have this ability to generate your own income. I had a friend once, and I kind of never understood what he was talking about, but it makes sense now getting into this reading. I'm feeling his energy coming through in a message that he said, and I want to relay it to you. I had a friend tell me once, he was like, I don't understand why people have, you know, such a hard time with money. They can just go out and make more of it. And it's such a, you know, a lot of people don't have that, you know, luxury. You know, they would have to get a job that pays enough to get to take care of themselves and their finances and stuff like that. You guys, that applies to you. It's just like if you want to make more money, you're like, yeah, I'll just pick up work. I'll just pick up a job. And, you know, and you guys can pick up jobs in like areas where other people like struggle to get the interview is kind of what I'm seeing. I feel like you guys in general, with this second house energy, you're just you have an ease of attracting abundance towards you. The good thing about this with the Six of Pentacles, you guys are very generous with that wealth. The Six of Pentacles is also referring to this Three of Spades betrayal though, in that, you know, someone who betrayed you could have taken advantage of you, not just because of your emotions or the commitment you had, but some people could have taken advantage of you and had a strong betrayal when it comes to money and wealth and stuff like that. You may have handed a gift to someone and they betrayed your trust with that gift, something like that. You may have been very giving with someone and they betrayed your trust. The point is with this retrograde card up here, you guys have this ability, like I said, shadow work on acid. I really feel like that's a phrase for you guys. I know I've never heard that before. Anyway, I've never heard anyone say that before, but that's the phrase that it feels like for you. It's like, it feels like a trip in your own head, but you're doing shadow work. It's very much like, and that's something that's very cool about you guys actually, that people don't see really, is that your inner world, like if you ever do shadow work, it's like fun and goofy and trippy. And it's like this kind of interesting experience where like, you kind of get to laugh about it, you know, like it's a good time. Like, you know, you wouldn't think it's a good time, like processing a betrayal, like it could be really rough and stuff. But I feel like your imagination is like so, how do I put this? Your imagination could either be something like cartoon-like, or it could feel like an RPG video game. It just feels like your inner world is so fantastical that when you process trauma, it gets processed in this kind of fantastical way that doesn't feel painful. In a way, it's like your deeper emotions are also it's like you're able to lighten the load within yourself, right? You might have someone betray you and it might hurt really bad, but when you review it, when you process it, when you either sit in meditation or you think about it, sometimes goofy examples come to your mind and you're like, okay, maybe that wasn't that serious, or maybe it's not even that it wasn't that serious. I feel it's interesting. You guys still feel the weight of it. I don't want to like discredit that. You still feel the weight of what the betrayal was. But the way your mind is wired, it doesn't get you down for long, right? It doesn't keep you down for long is what I'm seeing. With 9 of Cups here too, you guys are really willing to move on from the past, right? And that's the thing. That's the interesting thing is that, you only move on from people who have betrayed you. I don't think you guys are the ones to dump a friend just because you're bored with them. I don't think you're the type to dump a friend just because you're like, oh man, this person's boring or they're annoying or something. I feel like once you make that commitment, you have friends for life. Like there's a feeling that you stick by the people you stick by. And unless they totally and completely betray you in a really drastic, detrimental way, you keep them in your life. But people who do this betrayal towards you, people who do betray you, you let them go. That is so healthy. And that's something you guys need to realize is such a good quality about yourself. Some people who've been betrayed, they have what's that called? Like Stockholm syndrome. It's basically where the person who betrayed them, they get hyper attached to that person because they hurt them so deeply. And this is this feeling of like being attracted to pain. And there are a lot of people that are like this. They're attracted to pain. They attract other people who are in pain. They attract people who are going to cause them pain. The thing with you guys is people might betray you. And the thing is, this is something in life, right? Like people are getting betrayed all the time, right? Like not like all the time. Like it's not like a rare occurrence. It's not a common occurrence, but it's not necessarily a rare occurrence, It's like we've all been betrayed, right? But for you guys, it's how you deal with it, right? It's how you deal with it. If you easily let go of people betray you and you're like, oh, you betrayed me that one time, and it was pretty deep. You cut me really deeply, like, see ya, bye. And you might review it, like, I wonder why they betrayed me, why they did that, what they did there, or why I felt like that. And then it's just funny because you have that shadow work on acid thing where it's kind of like you're hallucinating yourself into a more positive state of mind. It's hard to explain. But basically what's in the past, you leave it in the past. And you guys really just cherish those relationships in the present, the ones that you're really committed to. And I feel like you guys have this beautiful thing where you always give loyalty first. That's coming through so strongly. You are the leaders and the initiators of the loyalty. And that's something that's really powerful here because a lot of people won't get into relationships unless the other person initiates the loyalty. And people are scared to do that. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people are scared to do that, but they secretly want it. They want to be told that they're the only one in the world and no one's ever going to leave them, but people can't say that all the time. People have these trepidations and these fears and stuff like that. Not you guys. With the 3 of Hearts here, intimacy is the name of the game. Union is the name of the game. Closeness is the name of the game. With that sense of empathy and your bonds towards others, you guys are this like kind of healing energy. The way I'm seeing this King of Cups with the water all around his throne, I'm seeing it kind of like just these cleansing waters. Like whoever decides to get close with you and bond with you, they're like happy. It's like whoever you bring into your life, the closest people to you are always happy. It's like even if they have an anxiety thing, as soon as they get back in your aura, they're positive, they're happy. You guys might have felt very lucky, like all your friends are just these really happy-go-lucky people, or all your friends really have no cares in the world. And if you really look at it, when they come and talk, like if one of your friends goes on a trip to another country and they have a bad experience, when they come back, they'll tell you about it, right? And you'll like make them feel better. And then they'll want to stick around you because there's this feeling that you provide an aura of like harmony for them. And it's really interesting. You guys are kind of like this aphrodisiac is the best way to put it. It's like an empathy aphrodisiac where people feel seen and heard. And because it's like, you're seeing me, and it's like, there's this feeling of just like peace and like serenity, because people really want to be seen, and you see these people, you see their issues, you resonate with them on a real level where you're like deep in their perspective. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, I'm going to end your reading here. I hope I was able to compliment you guys enough. I know sometimes we don't like compliments, but sometimes we need it. We need that little boost to see how we truly are. And honestly, with these types of readings, I'm not going to compliment you on something unless it's an authentic compliment, right? I'm not going to compliment you on something that's a lie. So if this reading resonated, please take these compliments as truth. I will catch you guys in the next pick a card. Thank you for watching, and moving on to the next group. Bye, guys. Hey, Dragonfly team, group 1. I forgot to pull personal traits for you, or like physical traits for you, and I did mention that in the intro, so I did want to pull physical traits here and do a timestamp at the end of the video, and do a separate timestamp for physical traits. If you guys are curious, you can watch that. So let's see what physical traits I can compliment you on today. I'm gonna try to see if I get any images about the actual physicality of your body, but at the same time, it might not resonate for everyone, so just know that whatever I'm referring to, I'm complimenting, if that makes sense. And it's probably also what other people find complimentary about you as well. Okay, so nails, okay, girl. Okay, so nails, and hair are coming through. They're coming through together. So what this means is that there's something about the way you do your nails to match your hair, or the way your hair and your nails look together. I really think that you guys look so good when you run your hand through your hair. Whether you're a dude or a chick, whether you're a guy or a girl, whatever, if you have certain painted nails or something like that and you run them through your hair, people really like that, That's something I can compliment you on, because that's just super seductive, and you guys have this way of kind of like playing with your hair, moving your hands through your hair, something like that. That's really interesting. I'm going to pull these 2 cards. We have style and chest. I think you guys wear great shirts. There's something about you guys wearing great shirts. Like if I met you in person, I would compliment the t-shirts you had. I'm getting something about graphic tees and the color black, like a black graphic tee or something like that for some of you. For others of you with style and chest, I did get an image of like some kind of top that hugs the body. There's something about accentuating your guys' like chest features, whether you're a girl or a guy. There's something about wearing something tight to accentuate the chest or make the chest look better. So whatever clothes you wear, it really elevates the beauty of your chest. So keep wearing whatever shirts and stuff you're wearing, because honestly, that's just working for you. We also have photos and hips. Something I'm getting for you guys is on Instagram and social media. Something I can compliment you on. Other people see this too, is if you like put your hips in the shot, like if you show a little hip action or a little booty action in your photos, however you would do that, people are really attracted to your hips in that way. There's some way of posing that like accentuates your hips that looks really good on you guys, honestly. And then we have feet and touch. This is something that I want to compliment you guys on. It has nothing to do with like the way your feet look or people touching your feet or anything like that. It does have a thing to do with you guys absorbing energy with your feet. This means that when you go on walks, when you walk barefoot in sand, when you walk barefoot around your house, there's something about wearing, it could also be that you wear sandals or something like that. And the compliments coming through in that this really grounds you guys. Like there's something about having your feet touch the earth that this really grounds you on a more spiritual level. And I really feel like I just want to compliment this because it's just some way you manage your energy. And I think that that's a healthy thing to do. I think it's really healthy that you let your feet feel free, right? There's a feeling of letting your feet feel free and letting them communicate with the earth and the air and the sand and the dirt. I'm specifically seeing people who go to the beach and walk barefoot through the sand, or someone who is standing in a grassy field, something like that. Let's see what else you guys got. We have facial hair and nose. Oh my gosh. Okay, male viewers, this is for you. If you're a male watching my channel, there is something about your facial hair that is completely sexy. There is something about the way the pattern of the facial hair is on your face looks really good. And when you have facial hair, it makes your nose stand out in a really beautiful way. So one thing I can compliment you on is like when you wear your facial hair, your nose looks good. Like your nose looks really good. You guys might think that like your nose doesn't look good or something like that, but when you have your facial hair, it really accentuates the positive features of your nose. Let's see. We have eyes and we have natural. Wow, this is really cool. I feel like you guys have such striking eyes. And you might not think they're that striking or something like that, because I'm hearing you guys feel like they're just normal, but there's something about how natural your eyes are in a way that like makes people feel at ease. And there could be a way where they kind of symbolize nature in some way. So you could have like green or brown eyes. Whatever the case may be, you could have blue eyes too, or I don't know what other color eyes there are. There's probably gray eyes and stuff and all that kind of stuff, but whatever your eyes are, they're natural, right? Like you guys, there's something about, please, there's like the message coming through from other people that are trying to compliment you without being able to say it. They're like, please don't wear contacts. Please don't wear colored contacts. Your natural eyes are so gorgeous, and I want to see the beauty of your natural eyes. So there's something that I see here that you guys might do something to your eyes to accentuate them, but it might be better to have a more natural look when it comes to your eyes, because people really like that natural look. For some women watching this, there's a feeling of people thinking like they don't need that excessive makeup on their eyes. Like when I've seen them without the makeup, their eyes look really amazing. So maybe lighter makeup around the eyes, something like that could be beneficial for you guys. This really turned into style tips, didn't it? I was trying to compliment physical appearances, but it's kind of awkward because, tell me if you guys like this portion of the reading or not, because it really just turned into like style tips, I guess. Yeah, tarot for style, tarot for fashion. Anyway, thank you guys for watching again. I really appreciate you being here. Yeah, I hope this reading resonated, this physical portion of the reading resonated. If it did not, take it with a grain of salt. If especially if the psychological portion of the reading resonated, that's what I wanted to get at in today's video in general. This is just a little thing that I thought of in the intro, and then I was editing and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to pull their physical traits. And so I've already done 2 piles and haven't pulled physical traits. So I'm probably just gonna add them all at the reading. That's TMI, you guys don't need to know that. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. See you in the future, in a future pick a card. Yeah, if you are just watching the physical traits portion and you skipped the psychological part of the compliments about your personality, if you feel like this reading resonated, please subscribe to my channel. I post shorts and long videos and stuff like that. And if you like this video, like or comment below, it really helps out the channel. And also subscribe if you feel like future videos will resonate in the future. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hey group 2, this is if you picked the Hummingbird card right here. So this will be your reading. I just got in out of a walk. I was going on a walk. It was really hot. I probably went too late in the afternoon and now I'm overheating. But maybe it'll be reverse in this reading. Normally I overheat in readings, and maybe this reading I will actually cool down as the reading goes on. Who knows? Okay, so I want to get you 2 Astro Oracle cards to start. Let's see what comes out for group 2. Why is group 2 so amazing? What makes them extra special? We have Dignified Strength, and we have Midhaven Pinnacle. Okay, let us get 2 playing cards for you guys as well. Let's see what comes out for group 2 in today's reading. What do they need to hear? How can I spoil them in today's reading? Bless them with compliments. We have 8 of Hearts and 2 of Spades. Okay. Let's get some tarot cards, and then we'll get... I probably have to push these up really close, actually, because if I remember quickly, they don't all fit on the screen that easily. Okay, so let's get some cards, some tarot cards on the table. What is it about group 2 that makes them absolutely fantastic? Okay. We have the World, the Star, the Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. As I was drawing the cards, I just want to let you guys know that these 2 cards were in reverse. I actually wanted to take them upright. I was very called to take all the tarot cards upright in this one. I didn't do that for group 1. I don't know if I'm going to do it for the other groups, but it felt very much like it felt very much like I needed to do that with this group. So let me take a second to look at this. Okay, let's get into it. Don't mind me if my hands are sweaty. I'm trying to wipe the sweat off my face. Okay, so let's get into it. Where to begin? Well, first I'll point out some of the obvious things. Like Midheaven and the Star card here, you guys are a star. You're essentially like, people look up to you. There's a feeling that you are going to advance very far in your career, and you're worthy of that. I feel like you guys have done a lot of work in past lifetimes of like, you know, when is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be time for me to be in the spotlight? And I think you've probably, I want to say like 3 lifetimes or something like, I think okay, I'm getting really specific messages. I'm sorry guys, I'm just going to go with it and just say them. But I feel like the last 3 lifetimes you lived, it was work because you were dealing with some negative karma from the last time you were famous. I think about like 4 or so lifetimes ago, you guys were really famous. You are some renowned figure. If you want to look into this, you can. You probably really resonate with some specific past life figure that was, or some figure in the past that was really specifically like really renowned and well known. However, they either did something unethical or they abused their power or something like that. You have spent the past 3 lifetimes working through this karma. So experiencing what it's like on the other end of that abuse of power. You've been really involved in a few of your lives recently, working through this concept of power dynamics. Now, I am happy to tell you that in this lifetime, this is like the lifetime where you're going to achieve power without being, how do I put this? Like, you're not going to treat people poorly. It's like you are the king and you actually have the ability to treat your subjects with kindness. There's a strong feeling here that people really look up to you because of this. And I think it's just something that if you're worried about at the point of this reading, maybe you guys are coming into some sort of fame at this current point in time, and you're like, am I worthy of this? Like, maybe there's this feeling, I feel like there's this feeling with you guys that like you're gonna be successful. You already know that like if you wanted to be, you could be successful like that. Like it's within your wheelhouse. That's not really why I'm complimenting you in this reading. That is a compliment, by the way, and I think other people have complimented on you this before, that you're so successful, you're so prominent in your field. Whatever you do, I feel like you guys are the best at it. You're my types that are like, in a way, you're overachievers, but also in a way, you're underachieving. You're sabotaging yourself in subtle ways. And the reason because of that is because you have these 3 past lives of having to deal with so much trauma from the karma of your 4th life in the past. So this is going to get kind of confusing, right? Sorry, I apologize. But basically, you know, you're dealing with some leftover trauma from past lives, right? But the truth is, in this lifetime, you don't need to learn those lessons, but you do need to have a figment or a memory of them. So if you guys have kind of thought like, where is this kind of weird power tripping thing coming from? Like this fear of being a power tripper, right? Like, what if I get into a high, like if I'm going to use it as a doctor, for example, what if you guys are like, okay, so maybe some of you are in med school and you're amazing doctors. You're amazing at what you do. You study really well. You've achieved top grades. People are really impressed with how you put in the work, and you're basically your talent and skill in the medical field, right? With this placement, what I'm seeing with you guys, there's a feeling that there's always this fear in the back of your head. Like, what if I take advantage of someone? What if I, take advantage of someone? Or what if I have to push my own interests forward and not take the client into consideration? Whatever it would be. I'm trying to think of an example for a doctor. It might be something like, some pharmacy company really wants to push their meds, and you, on an intuitive level, because you're such a good doctor, know that these meds aren't like the best to use. Like there's a better medication or something like that. Maybe you guys are worried that like you would have to push these medications or you would do something unethical for your clients. The truth is, in this lifetime, you're divinely protected. You work through all that karma. So for example, in your past life, one of your past 3 lives, if you were if you had a bad doctor and they prescribed you the wrong medication or they misdiagnosed you or something like that, and maybe you died of something because a medical professional didn't catch it in time, that could have been something in your past life, you will be assured of not committing that mistake in this lifetime. So basically, you're highly, highly unlikely to misdiagnose someone. You're highly, highly unlikely to say someone has something and then they don't. I also think because of this past karma, you'll really listen to your clients or your patients or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm using doctor as an example, and some of you, I know some of my readings feel very personal because sometimes the examples I use and stuff. But so some of you who are already like doctors, you're probably like, whoa, this is so resonating, right? But for those of you who aren't doctors, who have some other career, like it could be a career in performance art or a career in acting and stuff like that. And maybe you've heard that like people in the industry really take advantage of different things or different people. Maybe there's a certain amount of, if you're a celebrity or a star, like abusing your fan base, like, how do I put this? Like taking advantage of someone because they're a fan or something like that. This is all stuff you did like 4 lives ago. And you worked through that karma in these last 3 lives. So this is your pinnacle point in your fame and celebritism, right? Like you're coming back to be a shining example of what a good person who is famous or a celebrity or really well known at what they do, what that's like. A lot of people who, rise to positions of power, sometimes I feel like they get into dark stuff. You hear stories all the time. That will not be you. You experienced, in your last 3 lives, all the karma from what you did in your 4th lifetime. It's all in the past, but the problem is you've been going through this for about 4 lifetimes. So honestly, you're going to feel some of it in this lifetime, but it's just going to be memories. It's just going to be figments, or it's going to be basic fears, right? And the kind of like the way this is working out is there's a sense of having a healthy fear of moving in to the position of fame right now. But the truth is you don't want to let that fear hold you back. That's where we get into the star card. The star card, if you notice, she has a bucket here and she's dumping water below her by her feet and stuff like that. And then she has another bucket that's the actual star, and golden stars are emanating into the atmosphere, right? You're meant to leave behind certain emotions, certain emotional experiences that you feel internally. Doesn't have to be things that like, I don't know, that you necessarily felt in this lifetime. Like those might actually be harder to get rid of. In a way, but there are still remnants of past life situations that are kind of in you at this time that are causing these inner anxieties or inner fears about progressing on your chosen path, right? And the thing is, you guys know you're talented, right? It's just that what you don't realize is you also have the ability to conquer these fears. And it's not necessarily about conquering the fear. It's about realizing that the fear is a lesson you learned in a previous. So it's not that the fear is like this irrational fear and you're like, how can I ever become successful if I have this irrational fear and I'll never make it? It's not like that. It's that the fear is a remnant from a lesson that you learned in a past life. So it's a little bit different. It's like, you have to realize this too. The fear comes with the success. The fear comes with the talent. The reason you have the talent in this lifetime is because you set it up this way. You set it up to be talented in this lifetime. You set it up to be successful in this lifetime. Not a lot of people, go through this journey, of like achieving success. I mean, it's just not in their karma. Like a lot of people maybe want it or something like that, and they have to go through many lifetimes to try to achieve it. And then there's all the lessons of like abusing power and stuff like that before you reach to, I feel like you guys honestly have had many lifetimes with this kind of configuration. But basically, you're supposed to leave behind the emotions that these fears are inducing in you. So for example, say you have this fear of, misdiagnosing a patient. Like, what emotion does that bring up in you? Like, I know it's a fear, but does it bring up like sadness? Would you be just heartbroken if that happened? What kind of emotion does it bring up in you? Would you be angry? Would you feel like a sense of anger at yourself or something like that because of that misdiagnosis? Whatever the case may be, and I know I'm using a doctor example too, but this applies for like actors, celebrities, political figures, people in high positions of power where people have their lives in your hand, whether that's like, celebrity's kind of loose because but politics is a good one. Like people's lives are in your hands. What they're going through is in your hands. Doctors are a good ones. Their lives are in your hands. Anyway, like it could even be like a firefighter even, where like you're saving someone, like a position of power in that regard too. Although I'm seeing something with renown and status. Like I'm seeing you guys literally like wearing a crown or being like the best at something. So with the star here, there's this feeling of like when you let go of these emotions, that's when you start to advance in your career, right? You might never let go of the fear, but if you practice this, be like, what emotion would that make me feel if I went through that fearful situation? Essentially, that emotion, you're meant to process it and then let it go, right? Like let the emotion go. If that comes up more in the reading exercises on how to do that, I'll get into that because I'm feeling like some of you don't know how you would go about that. I haven't not seen that in the reading yet. So that might be something you learn in this lifetime, maybe not now, but maybe later, or coming up soon, something like that. Maybe you attract some kind of teacher or something like that that helps you let go of your emotions in a way that is works for each individual watching this reading. So dignified strength, man, this just talks about your guys' strength through all of this stuff, you know? First of all, strength in yourself. I'm seeing a spiral staircase. I feel like this journey to success for you guys hasn't been a straight line. I feel like it's always been going upward. It's been going upward and upward and upward. I feel like you guys have never stopped climbing to that pinnacle. But at the same time, I feel like it's been curvy. You know, I feel like there's been moments where you don't know what's the next step you're going to take. And you guys navigate this beautifully. Like this is something that you didn't even have to worry about. Like the unknown, no problem. I'll just take the next step on the ladder and I'll just keep approaching that goal. There's a feeling that you guys didn't worry about the next step necessarily. You just worry about the final destination. Like what happens when I get to this position of power and what if I lead people astray? That's kind of the vibe of the fear, but the fear of the unknown, knowing that you don't know what's coming next, that's not really been an issue for you guys. I just got a feeling that some of you are actually in a state of distress watching this right now, or there's something about being in a low mood or something like that. Like something happened recently, maybe where you felt, the vibe I'm getting is more, what's the word? You just had a really dark moment recently is kind of what I'm seeing. Oh, that's where I keep looking at this card. Two of Spades indicates a separation of like a friendship, like something that's not really that deep, but there's still a separation. It's someone that you were not that intimate with, but there's a separation from that individual. This could also be a separation from some kind of object or thing that you use. It's just any kind of separation from something. Usually twos are relationships though. So I wouldn't be surprised if recently you guys have had a separation, or in this lifetime, if you've had a lot of friends come into your life, but you've had to part ways with them oftentimes, you know? This could come from jealousy over your position. Or the life that you're leading, or this could even indicate that in order to achieve this success, you guys have sacrificed casual acquaintances, right? Now notice this is not the Three of Hearts. Three of Hearts is a union in marriage. I think that still is coming for you guys. We see that here with the Eight of Hearts, that whatever you want in love, you are able to achieve it. That's something that's really nice about you guys as well. But with the Two of Spades here, you probably had to sacrifice some friendships. You've probably had to sacrifice some casual acquaintances, some lighter business partnerships to make your way to the top. Two of Spades is not a difficult separation. It's like a parting of the ways. It's very light and it's easy, and it's like, oh, we like just are parting ways, and maybe we'll see each other down the line, something like that. You guys signed up for this lifetime to do that, right? I'm getting so much about past lives in this particular group. I'm sorry, guys, if you don't believe in that, or you have a hard time believing in that. This is just what's coming through. You can think of past lives if you have a hard time believing in past lives, like all the kind of things you are born with that are like little complexes and fears and things like that, that are, you know, pushing you into your personality in this lifetime. That's the best way I can put it, I guess. But yeah, you've had a lot of lighter. This Two of Spades is also coming in to say that the people you've left, don't worry about their feelings. It was a light passing. It's not like you have some casual acquaintance that's like, oh my gosh, they left me. That's not the case here. You have the Two of Spades. It's very much a strong indicator of like just simply parting ways, not really, no hard feelings, no hard emotions, something like that, specifically in all of your friendships and social connections. For example, I'm seeing a lot of you, if you left a certain place and had to move somewhere at some point in your life, there was this feeling of like, you know, like maybe there was a goodbye party or something like that. But once you left, everyone moved on with their lives. Like no one got stuck. No one missed you. I mean, people obviously miss you, but like just as much as like a friend would miss you. You know, this is not like a deep, intimate union where, you know, and maybe that's a funny thing because maybe you guys are thinking like, maybe I'm never going to have that deep, intimate union. Maybe that's a fear that you're having right now. Or you're like, all my relationships have been casual acquaintances, and all my relationships have just been these chill people who, were like friends, and then we part ways, and it doesn't go deeper than that, right? You are meant to have, with the 8 of Hearts here, a deep, powerful love. First of all, it's going to be a love that you desire. So 8 of Hearts is a beautiful card because when it comes to romance, when it comes to people that you covet, when it comes to wanting a relationship, you will get that relationship. And remember, it's a desire or an ideal. So for example, whatever your ideal relationship is that you've imagined in your head, that's what you will get. As simple as that. If it's a 7 of Hearts energy here, it talks about not getting what you want. And sometimes that means something else comes in that's either better than what you wanted, or something could come in that's different than what you wanted. But with the 8 of Hearts here, it's like you right here on this path, and then right there's your desire, right? You have it fulfilled. It's a full cup. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I think that that's something you guys needed to hear, and something that you also need to hear, and that I want to compliment you on, is what to desire. Like in general, like when you guys have a desire, you have healthy desires, you have desires that are going to manifest. What you want will come true. Simple as that, especially with people and intimate connections, relationships specifically, even friendships, right? This just talks about parting of friendships, that it's not that serious. But even friendships, if you want a specific friend to come in, if you want a specific interest to come in, whatever it is with people or the people that you need, if you want it, you can get it. You can easily make social connections. Literally, I'm imagining you guys like getting into a problem in your life and thinking like, I need to see this type of person in my future, or this type of person would help me with this issue, probably like in a couple weeks or however long it takes. You guys will know your own timeline for manifesting. But then that person appears and you're like, oh, nice. This person just came into my life. How wonderful. It's like really like that's something beautiful that you guys have that not a lot of other people have, A lot of people have that 7 of Hearts karma where it's like, man, I want them. And their karma in this lifetime is they have to learn to give up desire, right? They have to learn to completely give up desire. And I mean, this is something that you guys probably can't even fathom, because as soon as you think it, you get it. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. But for other people, they go their whole life like wanting and craving until they finally realize that they're the love they needed all along, right? And once they supply their own love, then that's where you can move into kind of an 8 situation where you can desire something and get it because you're already full within yourself. So that's something that you guys don't have to deal with. You probably dealt with it in a past life too. One thing you got to know too is coming into this lifetime, you're coming into this lifetime off of 3 lives of really paying back a lot of karma. Your last 3 lives were probably pretty difficult, which can indicate that can trail into the next life in a way, right? So when you were younger, you probably were wrapping up a lot of this crap, like you're probably wrapping up a lot of this negative stuff, or you had more fear when you were younger, or maybe you came into this life with a lot of fear. But your outer world just showed you that you're meant to be successful. Now remember, when you release these emotions, whether that's anger, sadness, whether that's whatever the emotion that the fear makes you feel, if you imagine actually doing that thing that you're afraid of, what is the emotion you would feel? Like walk yourself through that. Okay, so I have this fear. I'm going to do this thing. I go through this process. After I'm done, how do I feel? What is the emotional state I feel after going through this challenge that I went through? Once you realize that emotional state, it's time to let that emotion go. And I'm still quite not sure how you guys are going to do that yet, but there is an exercise that will be coming to you. It might be something in therapy or something like that, where you let the emotion of the experience go. And that's really going to benefit you. You're really pouring that energy into the earth, you're grounding it. And with the star energy here, that really just stimulates your star power to unfold and magnify. Why do I have an accent? Magnify, okay, so it's going to have your star power magnify essentially. And so you're going to just keep growing from there on and there out. World card does indicate that in your life, like if you're worried about being grounded or stuck in one place for too long, you're not. The world card indicates lots of travel, lots of worldly experiences. For a lot of you, you already know this and you're just like, I just got a taste of what it's like to travel to different places and I want to keep doing it so badly. The world card card is indicating that you will continue to travel. You will continue to go to different places. And also, I think the feeling is, especially with the Queen of Pentacles here, but there's a feeling that you will have the money to do it and enjoy those trips like often and a lot. With dignified strength here, this is coming through as like these two things being your strength, essentially. So for example, the World card, right? There is this feeling that, how do I put this? Your strength is a worldly strength. That means it's not only you and your job and the people you affect that see your job as a strength. It's very coveted around the entire globe. There's a feeling that people in your position are very, I guess coveted is the right word. I'll just keep using that word. Coveted in a way where it transcends local communities or local boundaries. So when you go to another place and you tell them what you do, people are like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, right? And you might not think that. You probably think in your head, like, well, there's gonna be some people who don't like what I do, but the thing is everybody you meet will like what you do. That's just kind of your karma, to meet people that are impressed with you and to attract people who are fans and admirers. Like, it's funny you guys came to this reading that you needing compliments, because I see that throughout your life, you're going to get a whole bunch of them, especially for whatever that thing that is going to make you famous, whatever that thing that is going to make you powerful is going to be. You are achieving that state of mind and a lot of affirmation. The universe is really pushing you through on this last leg of the fame, the series of fame lifestyles that you're living, where you're dealing with the concepts of power and being present and being in a position of power, right? There's a little siren going off, and it just makes me think of a hospital example again, honestly. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Can you guys hear that? Anyway, I'll continue with the reading. With dignified, I'm also seeing that Eight of Hearts energy is also a strength, right? So like your fact that you can just like want someone and get them, that's a strength. Also, eights is like a fantasy or how do I put it? It's like what you fantasize about in a relationship, and then you achieve that relationship. And this could happen with friendships. It's kind of in a way like a premonition. It's like you're getting, the vibe that I'm getting is you're getting kind of like these downloads about, where it's funny with that staircase and not knowing the next step and being comfortable with that. It's like, I guess these people are kind of like little guideposts. Like you'll get a little premonition about someone you're going to meet and you go, oh, it'd be so nice to meet someone like that. They sound so wonderful. Oh man, I would love a friend that would hang out with me every Wednesday and get coffee, right? Whatever the case may be. So you get this little premonition of a type of person that's coming into your life, right? And sure and behold, there they are. Like they just appear. And it's like, whoa, there they are. And I get to, now I'm getting coffee with this person. I kind of already knew they were coming in and here they are. It's very, it's not even like serendipitous, because that indicates like surprises. It's very much like, I knew you were coming. I feel like that's often with a lot of your love relationships. It's whatever you feel like you need at any given time. I also feel like you guys have had some serious love relationships as well. That at the moment in time were what you really wanted and what you really needed. But with the Eight of Hearts here, this is saying what you desire, you will get. It doesn't mean what you get will be right for you. That's still something that I think maybe, I mean, it doesn't bother you though. That's the thing. Like I'm thinking maybe for like a very small few of you, it bothers you, but for others of you, you're like, it's no big deal. It's that step into the unknown. It's like, well, I would have never known that I didn't want that type of thing, And it's really nice because even your deep relationships, there's an easy parting. It's like, all right, chill. Like we'll catch you later. Like breakups, no problem. There's this feeling of like easy come, easy go. There's not a lot of like betrayal or trauma or heartbreak or anything like that. It's like, okay, I really achieved what I wanted, but I found out this is not what I need in the future. This is not what I really want. And then it's just like, I'm going to let them go. It's just like, we're going to part ways. And it's very nice. You guys have really good relationship karma. That's separate from the power dynamic karma. It's literally like you can just, whoever you want, you can have. Like, but the thing is, I think sometimes maybe you guys think like, well, when is my desire going to match up for what I truly need? Right? Like when is my desire going to come into play and manifest what I need, not necessarily what I want? Because eight is it's this desired, fulfilled thing, right? So here's the truth of the matter is with the dignified and the staircase, it shouldn't matter. Like just keep bringing in the people you think you need in the moment. And the universe will most likely bring someone who's going to be a long-term companion. Now, that's where I get into this part of the reading with the Queen of Pentacles and King of Swords. We have kind of like a power couple here. And I do see this manifesting in your future. First of all, with the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords, the thing that I'm feeling for most of you, you're represented as the King of Swords and your partner's represented as the Queen of Pentacles. Now, you could be a feminine energy and you might be attracting a very masculine energy. I don't want to say in this particular reading, these are not exemplifying like typical gender roles. So for example, imagine this queen is like the King of Pentacles, but I'm reading the qualities of the Queen of Pentacles. And imagine this King of Swords like a feminine, like a Queen of Swords, but I'm reading the qualities of the King of Swords. So there's certain ways, for example, as a reader that I interpret the King of Swords, and there's certain ways I interpret the Queen of Pentacles versus like the King of Pentacles. Like they have different meanings for me. But it's like you have to flip the genders for those of you who are really resonating with being the more feminine figure. For those of you who are resonating with being the more masculine figure in the connection, just sit tight. Oh my gosh, I just realized these cards are all like cattywampered and stuff. And well, maybe not. Okay. Okay, so with the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords, let's get into this part of your guys' reading. With the King of Swords, I think you guys are going to be so kind to people. You're going to be kind to people while also having a handle on the dark truth. By the time you get to the end of your lifetime, you will have mastered fear. You will have mastered every dark thought you have ever thought about and realize that you are in control of making these things happen or not happen. I also think, and I see you guys being really beautiful counselors. I see you giving back, especially with the Queen of Pentacles here. I specifically see you with a partner who is someone who gives back to things that were important in their past. That's something that's coming through. So here's the thing. You guys have a relationship coming to you that is a long-term, long-lasting relationship. You know, it's not all these whatever I want and an easy parting of the ways, you know. Because I guess sometimes when we can get whatever we want, we don't really see it as a strength because it's just so common in our life, you know. And so a lot of people don't get that. It's you know, it's their karma to not have satisfying relationships, you know, and that sucks. And there's lessons you can learn in that lifetime, especially it depends on how deep the karma is, but there's lessons you can learn in this lifetime to deal with that. But anyway, let's get back to your partnership. And just in general, this represents aspects about you, but your partner's going to have a little bit more than you. So one thing I want to compliment you guys on is just to talk about this kind of partner. Queen of Pentacles indicate, well, first of all, this partner is very generous. Your partner is going to look to their past and to your past and see what made them who they are, and give back to certain charities in that regard. I think your partner is very wealthy. I think even though you're famous and you have a high position and a high status, your partner is the one who either, if you have the money, manages the money. So your partner might be someone who manages all the wealth that you possess and that you've grown. It can also be that your partner in general is just wealthier than you. They provide a little bit more stability. I think your partner provides a strong sense of self that they have, that you, like, how do I put this, that you kind of lean on as like a rock in difficult times. I also think of these butterflies up here as like concept and idea above the King of Swords. That was something that kept coming up as like concept, idea, brainstorming, ideas. And I think that that fear that you guys had in the beginning of your life turns into intellectual creativity. I know there's more here. My throat is giving out. I think I need to get water. Give me 1 second, guys. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys live in like a huge house. Like there's a feeling of a huge house coming in for you. I know this kind of turned into some kind of future prediction kind of thing. Maybe that's what you guys needed to hear. But the compliment I mainly want to leave you with, like the thing that I don't think you guys, because here's the thing, you guys hear a lot of compliments. Like I'm not going to lie, you're very advanced in what you do. People really respect what you do. You're just very much appreciated, right? And here's the thing, if people aren't saying this appreciation, they are thinking it. They definitely are thinking it. Even people across the globe, when you travel and you tell them what you do, or maybe you show them some of your work, if you're an artist or a celebrity, it's like you're known across the world. That's kind of the vibe. Like people across the globe know about you. What else do I need to say? There's more here. There's more here. God, it's just crazy. Like this midheaven has clouds in it. This has clouds in it. And there's a stairway up and there's a castle rising. And then there's you guys sitting on top of clouds. I think you're going to reach a very heavenly state in this period of your life. In this lifetime, I think you're going into a place in the future of total bliss. I think it's just going to feel heavenly, right? That's why I think that in this lifetime, I wouldn't normally recommend someone with like air energy with someone with like earth energy, because earth, sometimes it just feels like it's too grounding for someone who wants freedom. But this is not coming through in that way. This person's coming through as grounding, as in they're like the roots that are your foundation. And if you're a tree growing up and up and up, this person is like taking care of all the stuff on the ground. Like this person's taking care of the groundwork. Like maybe you have a job that keeps you away from home all the time, right? This person is the homemaker. Your husband or whoever it is the homemaker. They take care of the home, or they manage things like that. Maybe you're so busy creating. So you're an artist or an actor. You're so busy creating and you're like raking in the dough, or maybe not, or whatever. But this person is grounded and supporting you. You know, they know your position is really needed in society and everybody respects you, and they're here to support that, right? This person also might be someone who is really good and has a karma for supporting powerful people. So this person could be a really good assistant, like assistant to someone who's a boss somewhere, or someone who like manages something. You guys could be in a working partnership together. Sometimes that can happen with air and earth energy, where it's like one person is the more almost service or grounded aspects, where the other person's like the idea person, you know, like someone who thinks of all the ideas or the knowledge, or has the knowledge, and then this person's like the connector who can put it all into practical application. Overall, I just think you guys are beautiful. There's this feeling of like, the main compliment I just want to give you is you have these fears right now, and they're not gonna mean jack shit in the future, right? In fact, they're gifts. They're really gifts. These fears are gifts, because you are meant to experience these fears and in a way relive them for yourself, and then realize the emotional experience you have from it, and then release it, right? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. You're meant to release this thing with, you know, once you feel the emotion of it, you're meant to release that emotion. And it's going to help you rise to great heights, right? The more you release these fears, it's not that you release the fear. I keep saying that, but I don't mean that. You're going to have the fear. So if you think you're going to like ever get rid of the fear, that might not be the case. It might always be slightly lingering, because it's like a little memory from your past life, letting you know that like you've been here before, don't go here again, right? It's the one thing that's keeping you held back. I think once you complete this lifetime and achieve this position of power, I'm pretty sure your next lifetime is going to be this aspect of peace of mind, right? Like having peace of mind, and maybe in a way dealing with giving back in some way is kind of how I'm seeing that. But in this lifetime, you're meant to just achieve, be recognized, be renowned, be a renowned figure. Remember, the fear is helping you. It's almost like, you can think of it as like your ethics, like your code of ethics, and like little lessons that you've learned from the past. But there's emotions attached to these things. And in order to process the fear and turn it into a lesson and not see it so much as a fear, even though it's almost like still presenting as a fear, it'll feel different once you experience it and release the emotions attached to it. And it'll help you rise higher and higher. It's like you're letting go of like, how do I put this? Like you're letting go of things that hold you back. I think I'm making myself clear. So hopefully. Yeah, I think this covers it for your guys' reading. Thank you again for watching. Hopefully I was able to compliment you enough and boost your self-esteem. Remember, a lot of the stuff you have got going on, like honestly, like not a lot of people have this. Like not a lot of people get this 8 of Hearts energy where they can just think of a person they want and just get them. You know, that's kind of something that you guys have special to you. And yeah, I'm getting like feedback from you guys already, like watching. Some of you are saying like, oh, you know, I could think of a person and they would reject me or something like that. It's the idea, it's the concept. It's like, say you want someone who looks a certain way and works at a certain job, stuff like that. And this one particular person, you try to force it to happen or whatnot. Maybe that person rejects you, but literally like 2 weeks later, you get another person who almost looks exactly like them, has the same type of job, same availability, whatever. Like that's the thing. It's like, you guys will know the timing that you get these things and stuff like that. And you might even have one person who inspires the desire and then another person satisfies it, right? But that's the thing. I'm just telling you guys, relationships come easy to you. If they don't, this might not be your pile, honestly. But if you kind of have just thought of someone and wanted them and then you get them, this could be your energy. So yeah, I'm gonna bid you guys adieu. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, one quick thing, if you want to help out the channel, commenting and liking really helps push these videos forward. If you found that this reading really resonated and you feel like future readings would resonate, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome too. And with that said, I'll bid you guys adieu. Thanks for watching. Honor to read for you, and see you later. Hey, it's the Hummingbird crew, aka Group 2. Thank you guys again for being patient with me. I forgot to do physical traits in your reading, so I'm doing them here at the end. I think I'm going to do them at the end for everyone. But yeah, let's get into it. What are the physical traits of Group 2? Whoa, this one just flipped out and was very prominent. We have kissing. You guys, if you have ever doubted your kissing abilities, or that if you're a bad kisser or a good kisser, if no one's ever told you like what your kissing is like, trust me, you are a good kisser. It's probably one of your best ways to arouse others, honestly. Okay, so let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna take these two back. Sorry, it's too much. Okay, these two came out together. We have eye contact and back. Oh my gosh. If you guys have this habit of walking away from people, let me pull these over here. Walking away from people and then like checking them out after you've walked away, like turning around and looking at them. Like maybe you check them out at first and then you walk a few steps in front of them and maybe you're just interested to catch them again or something, but you turn your back around and you look at them, maybe from behind your back or something like that. There's something super enticing about this specific move. This is a specific flirting move that you guys can use again and again. And I'm seeing you probably don't realize it's a flirting move. Maybe some of you actually find it weird that you're looking back at someone. Maybe you feel like you shouldn't. But this is a move that is going to, when the right person comes along, this pulls them in. This just pulls them in. We also have eyes and nose. There's something about your eyes complementing your nose or something like that. So the area of your eyes where it meets your nose, that could be a really beautiful area of your face, something like that. I don't know if I have a freckles card in here, but if I'm seeing freckles for some of you might have something on your face in that point in like on your face in that area, something like that. I feel like you guys just have a really elegant upper face. Doesn't have to be elegant, could just be sexy in some way, shape, or form. Something about your upper face is sexy. You should be really proud of that. Let's see, we have soft and eyes. We're going back to the eyes here. You guys have really soft eyes. So they might have a defocused look to them where, you know, people feel like you're not necessarily like piercing people with your eyes. There's a softness, which just means you guys might have more of a distant, far off look in your eyes, or you might have very languid eyelids, something like that, where there's this kind of softness. I wouldn't say your eyes are super like intense or how do I put it? Like there's not like a intensity in the eyes is the best way to say it. There's a softness. It's either like you guys stare off into space often and people feel like if you look at them with that eye contact and back, you're not freaking people out. Your eyes are very soft. They're not intense. You can feel free to look at people. There's something very powerful and beautiful about your eyes. You shouldn't be afraid to use them. We have eye contact, eyes, and eyes again. So really eyes are one of your killer features. People love them. You know, authentic compliments only. So yeah, feel free to use them. Let's see. We also have neck and jaw. Okay, so your guys' face just looks good is what I'm seeing for the most part. But neck and jaw is really cool. Mewing exercises, anyone? Is that what that is? I forget what that's called. Like, is that mewing where it's like you chew on that plastic ball? I don't know. That was so popular a while ago. Like people would chew on these like things and it would like supposed to like make your jaw look more prominent, something like that. Anyway, your neck and jaw look really good. If you don't think they look good, they do. Yeah. Let's see. We also have makeup. and we have smell. Oh my gosh, this is the weirdest. Something about the makeup you purchase smells good. I don't know where to go from here with that, but that's the message. I've never smelled someone's makeup and been like, wow, your makeup smells like fruity, or your makeup smells, like the rainforest, whatever. Like there, I've never had this come out. Like I've never experienced this. Like this is a very odd message, but that's the message. Your makeup smells good. If someone is, thinks you smell good and you're like, well, I didn't put anything on, like I didn't put cologne on, or my hair's this something or whatever. There's something about you wearing makeup that accentuates your smell. This could totally be psychological. Maybe someone's viewing you, looking at you, and there's this way when they are looking at you, there's this feeling of like, they like start to smell things in their environment. It's like the visual trigger could cause them to have pleasant smells. Like you might have people randomly that you hang out with maybe say stuff like, hey, do you smell that? I smell whatever the smell may be. Like I smell like flowers, or I smell like freshness, or whatever the case may be. There's something about people smelling. And honestly, it could just be I want to just stick with the original message. Your makeup smells good. Yeah, if you guys I can see people watching this reading, like smelling their makeup after this. Like, what? Okay, so let's see. We have underwear and talking. If you're ever intimate with someone, a lot of people with intimacy with you just crave like getting undressed to your underwear and just having a conversation. There's something so like powerful about being like exposed, like having your skin exposed, and just having a conversation, whether this is like a slumber party with your friends or like this is before an intimate moment with someone there's just something about having like that skin being exposed and having a conversation. For some of you, you have conversations in saunas, right? There's a feeling of saunas, especially if you have a same-sex sauna. People like conversations with you in there because there's a feeling of being a little bit exposed, and really, it's very much like the lover's card, right? They're both naked, they're seeing each other, and there's a feeling of freedom and communication because there's something so liberating about seeing someone kind of like it. What's that? Okay, so how do I explain this? When they tell you to give speeches, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but this is something they talk about when it's like in public speaking classes and stuff like that. They'll tell people like, imagine the audience in their underwear. And apparently that works for people to just open up and give their speech. I've personally never used it, but I've never had issues with public speaking. But I know this is something they tell people to do who are shy at public speaking. Something about being like with less clothes on, people feel comfortable around you, right? They feel comfortable to share and talk and stuff like that. I really feel like, that could be moments where you're just chilling in your underwear with your man or with your girl around the house, and they just want to have a conversation, right? Or that's something that elicits some kind of conversation. I'm telling you, if you want better communication with your partner, if you have been having poor communication with your partner, talk to them when you're in your underwear. That's really going to work. Okay, our last one is going to be these three ones together. We have photos, we have smile, and we have walk. Okay, if you guys go on walks, like around your neighborhood or something like that, take pictures. Take pictures of what the walk is like. Take pictures of the scenery. Take pictures of what you see. Also, with smile and photos, there's something so engaging about your smile, especially after you exercise or while you're exercising, something like that. Like if you're kind of in the moment where you're doing your cardio and someone talks to you and you just get off the treadmill and like they make you laugh or they see you smile, people like that. And especially if you go to a specific gym and like the opposite sex is talking to you or the sex that you're attracted to is talking to you, and you can obviously tell that they're trying to flirt with you. If you flash them that smile, that's irresistible, and they will think about you for a long time when they'll be thinking about you on the drive home, right? In a way where they're like, man, I can't stop thinking about his smile. It was just so freaking beautiful, right? There's something about you smiling when you have endorphins that really transfixes people. It's an energetic thing, honestly. It's like if you work out, if you go to the gym and you get back and you're, you know, also with photos here, this would be a great time to take a photo because we can send energetic transference through photos. We really can. That's how like energy healing works on YouTube. I have a friend right now who's doing that right now, and it's like so wild. Like I felt so sick one day and just getting my energy taken out and then reinfused. I felt so much better. I think I had like a fever and like a headache, and they were just gone after the video. So I thought that was pretty wild. So that's something you can do. You can infuse an endorphin-like smile into your photos. So the longer the walk, the higher your endorphins are going to be. So if you guys do like walking, that's going to cause a lot of endorphins. And then when you like smile after that walk, it looks really good. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of seeing. I'm specifically seeing at the gym. Like my main metaphor example is at the gym. Also taking pictures outside could also apply with a photo and a smile. But there's something about like also like people at the gym, like they really wish they could take a photo of you. But it would be like, they feel like it would be inappropriate to like ask for a photo of you or something like that. But they really would like to just take a photo so they could like look at your smile later or something like that. Okay, Hummingbird group, group 2, thank you for letting me compliment your physical features. Group 1 was pretty much style advice for whatever reason. It was just like complimenting certain aspects of their style and stuff like this. This went a little bit deeper into like other territory, but I'm glad I got to give you this reading about all the physical stuff that you guys have going on and what I can compliment you with. Remember, this came up a little earlier, but eyes, don't be ashamed to look at people. Your eyes are beautiful. You have soft eyes and they look great with your nose. You also have a great smile. Like I mentioned with the neck and jaw, your face is just perfect. Like people think your face is perfect. And when you turn around and look at people with the eye contact and looking back at people, that gets them going. You know, like 2 power moves you could do, especially if you're at the gym. After you go on a walk, if someone approaches you and talks to you, flash them a smile. When you walk away, look back, then move back forward and keep walking. I guarantee you that person is getting into your DMs. If you exchange information with them, they are calling you, guaranteed. All right, I'm gonna thank you for letting me read for you. You guys can check out more of my content on my channel, longer form videos, short form videos. If you wanna like or comment on this video, it really helps out the channel. It helps this video reach more people. And if you feel like this reading really resonated and you feel like others in the future are gonna resonate as well, feel free to subscribe to the channel. That way you're like notified of future videos and stuff like that. All right, guys, see you later. Thanks for letting me read for you. Goodbye. Hey, group 3. I keep forgetting to put these cards out on the table. Let's see. This is if you picked the Crocodile card. So let's get into your reading. Let me give you compliments. Let me let you know why you're wonderful. And let's see what comes through. So your first Astro Oracle card, we have South Node Past. And for your other one, we have Pallas Athena Think. Let's get you a couple playing cards on the table. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the video, but I got a little bit of like lo-fi music going on in the background. Feels like one of those mornings where it's just, you want to get the day started in a soothing, kind of peaceful way. Let's see. And then let's get you some tarot cards, and then we'll get right into your reading. Yeah, I'm excited to compliment you guys today and see what's good about your personality. An Amazon truck just drove by my window. I saw it passing by. We also have this tarot card that wants to come out. We have the Three of Pentacles wanting to come out in this position. An Amazon truck mixed with the Three of Pentacles. One message I want to say right now while I'm thinking of it is someone could be planning to send you a gift, or you could be planning to make a purchase right now. That could be extra confirmation. You could be wanting something to be delivered, but you're planning on what you want to purchase to get delivered, something like that. You're deliberating on making an online purchase, something like that. Okay, let's see what comes up for you guys. I feel like taking the Page of Swords in reverse today. Just so you know, there was one pile where I didn't take reversals, so I'm kind of all over the place with my reversals energy today. It's like some groups I will take them and other groups I won't. So yeah, these all look good, right? Okay, so let me get into your reading. Also, I want to point out with the Three of Pentacles, the 30 in Pallas Athenas and the 33 in the South Node, if you've been seeing repeating threes, that is a sign this could be your reading. Also, repeating threes could indicate a specific number for you guys specifically where it represents you and yourself. So if you're ever thinking of like interpreting angel numbers, like maybe you see a license plate and it says 235, or then you see the number 235 and it's significant in some way. You're thinking about something powerful and you're seeing 235. Well, 2 could be connections, relationships, duality. 5 could be like right now I associate 5 with leadership, teaching, kind of like the Hierophant, community, someone as an authority over a people in a community, people who look up to someone. So it could be that there's a relationship or someone specifically that's looking up to you, right? You would just take that 3 and instead of placing it with creativity, instead of saying it's something about like the union of 2 things becoming 1, you can see it as almost like yourself in a way. Because I'm seeing 3 represents you guys oftentimes. When you're looking at, if you see 333, it's just that you're like in a strong sense of state of being, like it represents you. And then also there could be this element that you're an extremely creative person. Like you might have this kind of like extreme creativity that is like really powerful and potent, because we have all the 3s here, and 3s to me can often indicate that kind of creativity. It often indicates to me unions, like bonds, collaborations, stuff like that. So I do think you have this like strong sense of creativity. I'm getting this reading in pieces. Like it's hard to look over the whole thing without coming to some kind of inspiration to speak or deliver a message. So it's different than how I normally read readings or how I read cards. But I kind of feel in this way that you guys take reality and life like this. Like you take it piece by piece. Like you take it one step at a time is kind of the way I'm feeling. There's not too much rushing ahead into things. There's a steady building of the past with the South Node here. It's like building on what you know. There's a feeling of building on what you know. Slow and steady wins the race. I'm really feeling that vibe with you guys. Also, really quick little fun thing with the Hanged One and the 8 of Clubs. I really feel what makes you guys really amazing is that you take the time out to think about what you want. I feel like you guys have this ability that if you want to grow as a person, if you want to advance your sense of self, a lot of this reading has to do with the fact that, it's about building talents. It's about building your sense of self. It's about growing and living. We have 2 clover cards, right? Or they're clubs, but I see these as clovers, right? Which represent life and life force energy. Something that might be really special about you is that you have such a young look to you. Like there's a feeling of looking young or looking fresh or looking rejuvenated. Like I'm getting the term fountain of youth, that you drank from the fountain of youth, or people might think this who are inclined to know about the fountain of youth. They think this person must have drank from the fountain of youth. With the Hangman here, going back to this example, when it comes to getting things you want, when it comes to desiring growth for yourself or the direction you want to move in, I see you guys easily get these things in your life. So for example, say you want to learn a new skill. You want to grow your ability to learn mathematics or something like that. You easily find the mathematics classes that you need to advance your skill in that particular area. So for example, it might be really easy for you guys to find teachers. It might be really easy for you guys to find growth opportunities in life. With the Hanged One here, I see that whatever you want to bring into your reality as far as growth or advancement in that department, with the meditation here of the Hangman, and I know it's in reverse, but the vibe that I'm getting is just meditation with this card, at least in this moment. And I'm very much noticing the halo. I feel taking time out or seeing your desires from a different perspective, or just seeing life from a different perspective, I think it brings desire to you. So sometimes you guys might feel very uninspired as far as like, well, what do I actually want in life? You guys might feel confused. It's like, well, what do I want? What do I actually desire? I feel like you guys have this ability to bring in anything you desire in general, especially if it relates to your lifestyle or your growth patterns, how you can evolve in this lifetime. For example, you guys could really easily attract life lessons. And especially life lessons that you want to have, So this is a card about experiences, not necessarily material wealth or financial stability or durability. It's not about relationships. It's about experiences. Now, love and money can be in those experiences, but it's an overall experiential card. So, you could, maybe you want the experience to date, a daredevil or someone who's an adrenaline junkie, and you just want to know what that's like, right? That can happen. Like, that easily gets manifested into your reality is what I'm saying. Because 8s are like that kind of, it brings you what you want is kind of the vibe here. With the Hangman in reverse, the thing that I'm mainly saying in this particular instance is sometimes you don't know what you want exactly. It's hard for you to realize what the next thing in life, because it's like, this is something that maybe not a lot of people have to deal with, and maybe you guys are a little bit different than others in this regard. It's like, maybe a lot of people know what they want to manifest. Maybe a lot of people have this passionate dream that they just constantly yearn for, and they try to manifest and manifest and manifest, and it never comes true. For you guys, it's almost like, I don't know what I want. That's kind of the vibe here. And it's only until you sit in peace and meditation, or you see things from a different perspective, that the epiphany hits you, or that the desire hits you. So for example, having friends around you that, how do I put this? Like, having friends around you that show you a different side of life, that show you a different way of looking at things, When your guys' perspective shifts in general, that's when desires come up in your mind. It's like, oh, I would like to be that, or I would like to do that, or I'd like to grow in this way. Like, that's a totally unique perspective that I just heard. Or when you're in meditation, it's like, wow, I can't believe I just thought of that unique perspective. That's a different way than I used to look at things. How can I learn or lean more into that, right? And that's where this 8 of clubs comes into play. It's like, maybe you were thinking about this different perspective on adrenaline. In general, it's like, yeah, what is the nature of adrenaline? Or what is the concept of adrenaline? And for some reason, your mind's wandering there. And then you get this different perspective. Maybe you talk to someone who's a daredevil or something like that, and they totally enlighten you and give you this different perspective on adrenaline that you've ever thought. Maybe you thought adrenaline was scary before or something like that. Remember, this adrenaline thing is just an example I'm going with in this reading. It really could be anything. You're going to have to substitute your own experiences, and I really feel that a lot of different experiences in this perspective shifting align with you guys. It's really a beautiful thing, because I think that what makes you guys great is that you're meant to experience a whole bunch of different perspectives of other people, other situations, what different people are going through, and you're meant to live those out yourself, or at least through association, grow in those areas. I really think oftentimes when you see something in a different way, it's a signal that that thing is going to manifest into your reality. Now, the good news is 8s don't typically manifest things we don't want. So you can, you could be worried all day and night about like manifesting something that is bad for you, or you could be worried all day and night about manifesting something that's, not good. It's most likely for you guys not going to happen. It's this feeling of like, and even if you have a perspective that's a darker perspective, it's like part of you, if you manifest, it means part of you wanted it, or part of you is curious about it. So I really feel if you're the type of person who has a struggle with encountering shadow aspects of themselves in this lifetime, this is probably not your group. Because for this person, they don't tend to manifest things that are too dark or detrimental unless they have a perspective that gives them the feeling of they want that, right? So for example, you could totally want to do shadow work and stuff like that, but it's not going to come into play until you see the perspective of like, well, that seems cool, or that seems different, or that seems interesting, or now I see how it would work. Let me go into that. Let me manifest that into my reality. So there is this feeling of growth, livelihood. I really do, going back to that youthful thing, I think you guys have an extremely youthful personality. I think you are actually, it's interesting because you have a lot of experiences as well. Like, you're going to have a lot of experiences. It's the vibe of someone who starts out life really youthful, really young, and ends the life, even though like they've had so many experiences, it's like by the time they end their life, there's also this feeling of like, wow, like I've learned so much, like I've gained so much. Like, experience is the name of the game for you guys. And if you're nervous about not having experiences or building enough experiences by the end of your life, because with South Node here, there's this feeling of slow and steady wins the race, taking things one step at a time, right? But at the same time, it's like you're meant to go through a lot of different experiences. And for some of you, you've really already learned this. It's like, even though you move slowly, it's giving me the vibes of the tortoise and the hare, the story of the tortoise and the hare, where, the rabbit, kind of runs ahead and is really fast and tries to get a whole bunch of experiences at once, but then tires out and takes a long ass nap, right? And the tortoise just keeps chugging along one step at a time. And who wins the race? The tortoise. Who gets more experience in the end? You guys. You don't have to worry about being inexperienced in this regard. Sometimes people with club energy, they feel youthful, they feel very vibrant. They're meant to be full of life. They're meant to live a long time. That's why you're always so young. That's why you seem so young to people. That's why for whatever age you're at, you look really young. It's because there's this vibe of like, you're meant to have a lot of experience. And what creates that vessel to gain experience? A very long life. A long life with lots of experiences. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys live to a very old age, right? You're my kind of like, this is kind of like my little joke with people who look young, I call them vampires. I'm like, you guys are my vampires, you're going to live to 110 or whatnot, whatever the case may be, there's this feeling of just like being late bloomers or growing up late or something like that, Let's get into some of the other cards. One thing that's really beautiful about you guys with Pallas Athena's Think and the Three of Pentacles is you really put your mind to use. Like there's something very intelligent about you guys as well. With the Three of Pentacles here, there's a feeling of brainstorming. First of all, I think you guys work really well with other people. There's a feeling of like, you're really good team players. You work really well with other people. And with Pallas Athena Think right here, there's this feeling that you really think things through. Like I said, you have that kind of slow and steady attitude. It's like, I'm going to take things one step at a time. When I approach the situation, I'm really going to think it through. Do I want to manifest this in my life? I'm going to think it through. I'm going to go over all the different perspectives. I'm really going to get inside someone's head is kind of the vibe before I start to manifest things that I want through a perspective that they have. That's something that's a thing going on right now. Now, I have not been reading the Animal Oracle cards. I'm just using these as indicators. For me personally, I don't like to use the indicator card in the reading. There's reasons I do this. The reason because it's like, if I started reading about the crocodile, it's like you're picking. It's a little bit of a giveaway is what I'm trying to say. So like, for example, that's why I like to use crystals normally and stuff like that. But I don't read the indicator card in the reading because you might be drawn to the crocodile or intuitively drawn to it or whatnot, but it's just the indicator card for the pile. Like I know a lot of readers will read the indicator card and they'll be like, oh, you chose this, so maybe this is going to happen. But I try to stay away from that in my readings. I find more accuracy reading the cards that are meant to come out. But the thing is, the crocodile, you are meant to choose it to pick this pile, right? So, but I am being drawn to the eye in the crocodile. So this is rare for me that I'm drawn to the indicator card, but there is something about seeing things clearly, right? And seeing things in general, just having a perspective where you want to look, where you want to see, where you want to know what's coming next through vision or perspectives or your third eye, that kind of thing. Let's get into this. 10 of Pentacles and South Node past. Something that I can compliment you on that maybe not a lot of people realize is a gift, and it truly is a gift, is you come from a rich environment. You come from a fertile environment. There's something about your community where you were able to grow very... Here's the thing, in this lifetime, you are a protected seed, right? You're kind of like a plant in a garden, and you're one of, I want to say God, so a lot of you probably believe in God, but you're one of the universe or God's like prized creations. It's like if God was a gardener and he's growing a garden, you're one of his like prized plants in that garden, and he is making sure that you have enough soil, enough water, enough sunlight. So in a way, you're very, very blessed. Very, very blessed by the universe, God, the divine, guardian angels, spirit guides, whatever you believe in. I know a lot of you believe in God. I'm feeling that here in this pile. But you're very blessed. You're in a fertile environment to grow in. And, how do I put this? Like luck and situations, sometimes people don't see as like their responsibility. Maybe people in the past have talked down to you, like, what do you have to complain about? Like, you grew up in such a fresh environment. Like, people are constantly supporting you, and you didn't have to do any of this work on your own. Like, you really just, everything was given to you, right? That's not necessarily how it really is. Like, for example, with past lives and stuff, someone who has a life like this has deserved it through good karma in their past lives, through good karma in general. And usually someone with this kind of situation comes into this lifetime with this feeling of like having done a lot of good deeds in their past. So a lot of people who enter lifetimes like this, who are very blessed, who are looked after the universe almost immediately as they're growing up, who live in kind of rich environments, whether that's money, whether that's, just a strong sense of having an environment of education where you can learn whatever you want to learn. Whatever this is, you guys were blessed with a very nurturing beginning. You are blessed with a very nurturing. I wouldn't be surprised if you have some kind of placement in your early houses, like Jupiter in your third or Jupiter in your fourth or something like that, or Venus in your fourth, Venus in your third, whatever represents early education in the home life. I feel like for you guys, you started off really strong. And I also think something like this, like I was talking about the past lives thing, carries over from past lives where you were a hard worker or you were really generous. And sometimes what happens is these good virtues carry into this lifetime. So it's like you're meant to have a blessed life in the beginning of your life. And also there's this thing that like, you guys were always good people, and that, you could live and have the blessings of a good life when you start this lifetime, and if you don't deserve it, or you're really meant to learn the lesson of how do I put it? Like feeling regret that you didn't appreciate your life. That is another way a lifetime with someone who starts out with good beginnings can happen. For you guys, it's not that. It's that you deserve this life. You're ready to appreciate it. You're ready to have a good life. You want to take things step by step and slowly, because I really feel like that's the hard worker you were in a past life, It might not manifest as hard work in this life, because I do see a very easy flow. And I see you guys get down on yourselves because people in this lifetime don't understand why you have it so easy, why it's so easy for you to grow and get what you want and have any life experience you so desire, So people really have a hard time with that, but that's not your fault. The thing is, how I want to compliment you in this reading is, it's just saying that, like, even though people don't see you putting in the work in this lifetime, right? You put in a lot of work in past lifetimes. Like, you don't just reach the 10 of Pentacles doing nothing, right? Like, you go through the 8 of Pentacles, which is like this practice makes perfect, just doing the same thing over and over and over again, You go through a lot of different stuff. You go through the 7 of Pentacles where you're just waiting for things to grow and nothing's happening, right? This is kind of your reward lifetime is what I'm seeing. This is the lifetime where things are meant to be easy. And you guys already realize this early in life. It could even be that later in life, you're looking for ways out of the easy life and you're looking to try to see how people struggle. It's almost giving me, like, I don't know if anyone's read Siddhartha or I think the book Siddhartha. I read it in high school. It's basically like Buddha started out in this palace full of like riches and abundance, and like he was given everything and he was protected from the world and he didn't know anything of the outside world. But then when he went to the outside world, he saw suffering, he saw pain, he saw all these things. And he decided to go on this journey, this spiritual journey of, I can't remember the whole sequence of events, what happened first and stuff. But at one point he sacrifices like material wealth. And he says, I'm going to live on the street and I'm going to beg for food and I'm going to live in suffering because I want to, it's just very different. If you grow up in a perfect environment, it's like suffering becomes this thing that kind of feels tantalizing, So there's this feeling of like first giving back to people, or just becoming what other people are, It's a feeling of like growing up so protected and so in a safe space and, having a really safe space to grow up. But when it comes down to this end part of the reading, you guys you're not just satisfied with that. You're really going towards this area where you can look at different perspectives and gain a new experience, right? You're meant to grow and experience. You're meant to know what the world is like. You're meant to know what different experiences and different feelings in life feel like. You know, it's kind of one of those things that maybe you were a really hard worker in your past and really singularly determined to achieve some kind of high status. That's just probably who you have been in previous lifetimes, whatever the case may be. In this lifetime, you're meant to enjoy the fruits of your labor, especially in the beginning of life, and then towards the end, branch off and just know and understand and learn, right? Clubs are all about learning, you know, experiential processes. With the Page of Swords in reverse, I feel like as a child, there's a feeling of feeling like you're holding yourself back. There's a feeling like you're holding yourself back. And with that protection, it may have been a little stifling in the sense that even though you were given everything, there's this feeling that you really couldn't engage with the world in the way you wanted to. And I don't know where this comes from. I'm not seeing it in past lives or anything like that, but there's this feeling of just being shy, or there's this feeling of holding back your thoughts and opinions, or at least thinking you're doing this. This is like a self-perception thing because it's in reversed, right? Upright, it would be this is how people perceive you, this is how you really are, but there's this perception that you're holding back. And I think this perception that you're not being your full self kind of carries over into seeing what these different perspectives are. And you learn as you see these different perspectives and as you grow in these different ways, there's this feeling of like, wow, I'm learning who I am. You know, I'm learning who I truly am. You know, it's like when the seed finally grows out of the garden and the universe is pouring that water, or God's pouring that water on the garden and the sunlight's hitting it. And as you grow, you know, this is where the plant starts to create branches or sprouts or things coming out. If you know plants, they have a stalk or a trunk. Like we'll just use a tree, for example. They have a trunk, and then at some point branches start spreading out, right? That's you learning about all these different perspectives. It's all about growth in this lifetime, you know? You're meant to not just stay in one pace, one perfect track. You're meant to experience all these things and absorb all this beautiful sunlight from the world around you. Don't ever let someone tell you that your path, I mean, and here's the thing, sometimes you can't just tell people like, well, in my past life, I worked hard, you know, because not everyone believes in past lives, and they'd be like, oh, okay, whatever, dude, you know, but like, you at least will know for yourself. You know, you will know for yourself that this lifetime you deserve all of this. Like this is something you deserve in this lifetime, you know, because in past you've worked hard at this stuff. And I even think through seeing these different perspectives, you'll get a clear understanding of what it's like to be in other people's shoes, right? And through that process, by the end of your life, you'll have this kind of awareness of other people, where other people will start to respect you more, even though you have everything, even though everything comes easy to you. And maybe people don't see that as such a good thing because they think, oh, you should have just worked hard from the beginning. You know, everything was handed to you and you should have just worked hard and all this stuff, right? With this perspective shift, right, you will be able to relate to people's struggles a lot easier because you're learning through these different experiences. You're going through what they go through, right? And that's where I'm saying, like, with the dark experiences, you might want to do them when you're ready for those. Like, just like Siddhartha, how he gave up everything, all his material abundance, just to beg on the streets for grains of rice. You know, there's this feeling here with the Hanged One and the Eight of Clubs that you guys might at some point in your life want to take on darker experiences just to relate to people, right? Just to feel what people are going through. I mean, this is the lifetime where you guys are developing empathy. You know, it feels like you started out life, like, you know, you were probably kind enough, but you're trying to develop true empathy where it's like, how do I see things through other people's perspectives? Now, this might manifest in many different ways. You might have a relationship that comes in and you're so close with them and you learn so much from them. It could be that you become a person, you are actually transforming yourself into becoming a person that, how do I put this? That takes on those qualities that you're wanting to learn, you know? You're the type of person that, you know, like, if you really want it, you could live without material abundance. Like, this is the pile where if you truly wanted it, I'm not saying that you want this right now, but you could live without money completely. Like, you could say, I want to live without money completely. Like, I want to be homeless, or I want this to happen to me. Whatever you guys want, whatever growth experience you want, whatever experiential thing you want, that you kind of come to a new perspective to understand that thing, that's what's going to happen for you, right? You're meant to learn all these different perspectives, and the sky's the limit. You can really choose to live any lifestyle you want. Really, the sky is the limit. So if you want to try to understand someone who said something to you in the past about maybe they had it harder than you or something like that, in this lifetime, say, I want to feel what it's like to be them for a month or 2 months, right? I want to live that for 2 months. Like, that'll happen for you guys. Like, you will manifest that into your reality. Now, keep in mind, you guys are not the types that naturally manifest negative experiences. Remember, you're in like God's protected garden, right? And so if there's something that's going to happen to you, like a branch starts growing in a direction that, how do I put this? That is making your particular tree, I'm getting the image of a bonsai tree too, actually. If your bonsai tree is growing in a way that is not beautiful or harmonious, right? And you don't want it to grow in that way, God or the universe is going to trim that branch off to make your tree look really pretty and perfect. It's going to take away that negative thing. That's why when it comes to your growth, you will always grow in the direction you want. And that's something that I think you guys are nervous about. And just so you know, that's something I want to tell you. And, it's not really a compliment. It's just kind of a fact that should comfort you, that you always choose the direction you're growing in, right? There's a feeling that you guys are always in control of the direction you're growing in. And it's all based on what you want to happen, and that, that's the thing. I really do feel like you guys at some point are going to want to experience negative experiences or experiences that are so-called negative, right? Because you want to get that perspective of everyone on this planet. It's like you want to know what everyone's going through. There's this kind of feeling like that. I think in later life, that's also what really solidifies you as a brilliant and amazing team player. Just as far as your job and career is concerned, I think later in life, you're either a really good manager or a really good team leader, something like that. I think you are like superb at putting different people's talents to work together in one particular group or in one particular pathway. With Pallas Athena, I think you are a strategizer. I think you are a thinker in general. I think you have brilliant ideas, brilliant concepts. I'm looking at this golden helmet here, and it's reminding me of like a shield for the mind. And I'm also seeing this golden aura around this person's head. Your mind is very protected in this lifetime. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a very clear head through your whole life. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't experience any kind of delusion. I mean, even if you guys are spiritual people, there's this feeling of not feeling like your spirituality is causing delusions or taking over you in some strange way, where you can't control your own thoughts, Yeah, with the Six of Clubs over here, this is a card I didn't get into and I want to bring it up. This just talks about opportunities falling into your lap, right? It pairs really nicely with the Eight of Clubs, and it does Six of Clubs with the Ten of Pentacles, talks about this feeling of just ease and things coming easy to you, and also this feeling that in the beginning of life that you might not be controlling the growth that you're going through. Just like a beginning plant and a seed is bursting forth and the sunlight's a very new thing before it starts branching off in different directions. It's like you only have one path is kind of what I'm seeing. And the path feels like it was chosen for you. That's why when people tell you like you're not a hard worker, you were given everything, you just think and like you're like, well, I didn't choose this, this is just the environment I grew up in. Like I didn't choose to have a really wealthy family or wealthy beginnings. I didn't choose to like live in this fertile soil. For some of you, it's not even wealth. That's why I want to stay away from that. But it's a community that supported you. It's living in an environment, like for example, if you live with parents who are artists, like really creative parents, maybe they're really focused on your growth and your creativity. So other artists and people who didn't grow up with creative parents or parents who let them express their creativity, they're jealous, they're envious because they're saying like, well, you've been practicing art and music since the beginning. Like for example, if you guys go to art school or something like that, they'll say like, you've been practicing art and music from the very beginning. Like your parents raised you with that. You're so lucky you had an early start. People could say it's something like that. If it's your intelligence, people will say like, well, you don't have to work on projects because you're not dumb. Like you're smart and all this school stuff comes super easy to you. You're like, you get perfect grades, stuff like that. So this is just saying that like in the beginning of your life, like there's almost like not choosing the pattern you're growing in. There's this feeling that you are growing and there's a blessing coming and there's a blessing that you had in your early beginnings. But with sixes here, sixes are things in my system where it's like things you don't choose. It's like an opportunity presents itself and you just take it, right? It's not something you choose. It's kind of like a card of fate. It's a card of, not having the choice in the matter. It's like something beyond your control, right? And that's just one thing I want to point out here is this early beginnings, it was something beyond your control. It wasn't something that was, something that you chose, well, here's technically your past life chose it because you did do the hard work in a past life, just pointing that out there. So don't ever think you're not a hard worker, because you did live many lifetimes like that. And I'm even thinking, when people tell you that you're not a hard worker, it almost maybe doesn't feel painful. I mean, for some of you it does, but it's almost like a boredom thing. Like, well, yeah, I know what hard work, like that's something that like I've already been through, and really, people who are envious of that, they just haven't reached that level of success yet in their lifetime because of their hard work. They may or may not, but I see them, most of them reaching a period of success. And at that point, understanding what you were going through at the end of their life and realizing, man, maybe I want to raise a family with that kind of attitude, or maybe they see through their children the beautiful life they're giving them, and they kind of see you in their kids, something like that. So, it's funny how the bully, they shift their perspective by the time they get older as well. Let's see what else I see here. Yeah, with the South Node here, the past, this does talk about past lives as well, so I'm glad I'm bringing it up. And that past life aspect of building slowly and surely for the future, step by step, very, very Eight of Pentacles energy, step by step action, just working on the thing and then copying and working on the next thing. There's this feeling of taking things step by step, right? It's very, very Earth energy. We have two Pentacles cards, which indicates slow growth. It also indicates stability and structure. I would say that based on your past and building step by step, you have this beautiful ability to grow slowly and surely. If you're worried that this whole different perspective things is going to get out of control, it won't. Like, you're going to get the growth at the time when you need it. At the same time, with this Eight of Clubs energy, you manifest things in a way where they arrive timely. I feel like you guys, one thing that's beautiful about you that not a lot of other people have is pacing. You know how to pace your life. You know how to maneuver your life in a way that the pacing is really beautiful. There's this feeling of, wow, I know how to pace myself. I know how to get into things at the right time. I know when to exit things at the right time. I know when it's time to move on from a project. I know when it's time to begin a project. I know when it's time to take a break from a project. There's a feeling of really pacing yourself. I feel like you guys really prioritize your rest, but you also prioritize your activity. And that's something that makes you, like, how do I put this? Like, maybe some of these people who are bad, I know I keep going back to these people who are like the quote unquote hard workers, who are like bashing you about your lifestyle, but maybe they don't know how to pace themselves. So maybe when they're doing hard, like the tortoise and the hare, remember the tortoise is just going slowly and steadily through the whole race. There's a feeling of pacing yourselves, relaxing when you need to, being energized and active when you need to. The hare, the rabbit sprints, right? They might be working harder when they're sprinting, but at some point they're going to collapse, right? At some point, they're not going to be able to keep pushing forward. As hard as they try to work, they could get burnout. They might need rest, that kind of thing. And so just be aware that you guys have this beautiful way of pacing your work. So if someone's telling you you're going too slow, or you're going too fast, or you need to rest more, or you need to be more active, they really don't understand that you already have mastered that level of pacing, right? You know the exact pace you need to go at, when you need to go at, and I wouldn't bend over backwards for anyone, especially in that department. Now, remember, you do have this perspective thing, so if you want to experience something in life where you're having burnout just for the pure experience of it, you can do that. That is something you can do. Because really, with an 8 here, anything you desire as far as an experience in life, or an experience that contributes to your growth, your perspective as a human being on this lifetime, you will be able to go through, right? Opportunities with the 6 of Clubs will present themselves out of the blue, and you will be able to take them up because it's something that you desired, right? You guys really do live a blessed life. I feel like you're getting down on yourself because people are actually really pissed that you have it really easy, and I think that you guys are in this state of being where it's like maybe you don't understand people that well, and something that's really getting you down is just this feeling of being in the dark, right? Being in the dark, or not knowing what's going on in other people's heads. It makes sense if you've been on my channel for a while why you like my channel, because we often do readings of like, what are they thinking about you? What does your crush think about you? And maybe those appeal to you guys because you're not at this level yet where you have assimilated all these different perspectives. Like I said, something that is coming for you in later life for sure is this idea and this thing that like you know a lot about all these different perspectives in life, and therefore see the full picture of everybody and everyone around you, how it's all interconnected, everyone's experiences, you know, just like Buddha, who left the palace of like riches and stuff and was totally isolated from the world. You know, in one regard, he was protected. In the other regard, he was clueless about what was going on with other people. So in this way, there's this feeling of not being clueless anymore by the end of your life. And that's kind of your life path in this lifetime. You're on this path of learning. You know, previous lifetimes were about hard work. They were about achievement. They were about pushing ahead for success. This lifetime, the beginning, is about enjoying your success. The end, very much about growth. It's about experiences. It's about learning, you know, and manifesting however you want to learn, however path that forms for you. That'll be the correct path. You know, you don't have to worry about that. You have a lot of free will in this lifetime to choose whatever you want to experience. You know, it's like you have been given this rough outline. You know, it's like it's definitely this like rough outline, and it's like you can maneuver however you want within it. I think you have a lot of agency in this lifetime is kind of how I'm seeing it. I think I'm going to end your guys' reading there. I don't feel like I'm getting any more messages. If you guys want to help out the channel, please like or comment below. That really does help this channel grow and stuff like that. If you feel like this reading resonated, you feel like there's going to be more readings in the future that resonate, feel free to subscribe. With that said, I really enjoyed reading for you today. Just so you guys know, you are totally blessed, and that is something to be proud of. You know, don't worry about not understanding where other people are coming from. That's going to come with time. You know, that's going to come with seeing like these different perspective shifts and stuff. And I see you guys get this sense of knowledge, this sense of understanding of where other people come from over time. And that's going to be a beautiful thing. Remember, we're all on different growth journeys, you know, and just know that you're amazing in your pacing, you know, like, you know, when is the right time to do something? When is the wrong time to do something? You might not have the final result yet, but you're getting there, right? And you're going at your own pace. Remember, like I said at the beginning of the reading, you're youthful. You know, you're meant to have a lot of experiences because the universe is stretching out your age so you can have a very long life and a lot of experiences, because you're meant to really feel that sense of longevity in this lifetime. I'll catch you guys in the next reading. Thank you for watching. See you later. Hey guys, this is the portion of the reading where I will be complimenting physical traits about you guys. So we'll be getting to your looks and stuff. So the first big long portion of the reading was all that, you know, complimenting you and spoiling you with compliments all about your psychology and who you are as a person and your soul and all that stuff. Now we get into the physical. That's too many. I'm going to take these back. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Okay, these three are coming out together. We have abdomen, we have laugh, and we have eyes. Okay, so I feel like you guys have a very specific way of laughing where you like clutch your abdomen or like you bend over halfway or something like that. And this is like, for some reason, really attractive to people. Like, literally, I'm seeing like your abdomen like breaking down, laughing so hard, and your eyes tearing up. And for some reason, this actually turns a lot of people on, and it makes people feel super comfortable around you. Like, there's this feeling of expressing like amazing positive emotions where, you know, you're just, I feel like you guys have these like deep, powerful, you know, like humorous kind of emotions all the time. And so something physical about you is just your laugh. People love your laugh. You know, it's one of those belly wrenching, gut producing laughs. Like, it comes from deep within, and people really appreciate this. There's also something about your eyes after you laugh. Like, when you stop laughing and you look at someone in the eye contact you give them, like, I'm getting chills, because honestly, like, you have such a magnetism with your eyes, especially when you're feeling a lot of positive emotion. There's this feeling of like, say you go see a comedy show or something, or say you're laughing with your buddies or something like that. When you're done like laughing and stuff and you guys get into more serious discussions or something, it's like your eyes changed. Like, your eyes got more sparkly, or your eyes got more like, man, how do I put this? Your eyes are just like gorgeous after you laugh. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're like watering or what it is. I don't know. There's something about your eyes, like, Okay, we also have chest and smile. Yeah, you guys have an amazing smile, right? You know, and it's funny it came out with chest. I really feel okay. I don't know how much sexual stuff you guys can handle, but there's two things coming through. One's a little more like vanilla, and the other one's a little more okay, so I'm just gonna say it because I feel like I'm thinking it for a reason, right? Like I should just say it. With the smile and the chest, when you smile at people, it makes the sensitive areas on people's chests tingle. You might find that when you smile at people, people literally touch their chest. Or like maybe when you smile at like a woman, she like adjusts her bra or something like that. These are all unconscious behaviors, I feel like, with most people. But you'll find that like people will often touch their chest or their shoulders or their clavicle or something when you smile at them. You know, there could even be like a feeling of raising the hand to the chest and being like, oh, like something like that. Also, I really feel like these people want you to lay your head on their chest and be smiling up at them. There's some kind of vibe like that like you could be smiling at them from the area of like their chest, essentially. Okay, let's pull some more. We have, let's see, will these fit over here? Yeah, we have eyebrows, eye contact, and nose. Honestly, you guys have beautiful eyes and nose region. Like this came out for another group, so this is very similar to another group. I forget what group it is, honestly. But yeah, there is just something about that area of your face. Here's the thing. I'm feeling that area of your face is different for a lot of you. You know, compared to the laugh, which feels like it's very, you guys have this really gut wrenching like laugh that's just this belly laugh that's like so really contagious, right? Or this infectious laugh, right? With chest and smile, there's something about your smile as well. More specific messages with eyebrows, eye contact, and nose. I'm not getting specific messages for you guys with this. It's just that these areas are good features. I'm also hearing whatever you are doing with these areas are really helping your appearance. So maybe you have a nose piercing. That's really helping your appearance. Maybe eye contact is working for you really well. Maybe you guys are already working on making eye contact with people or something, and your eyebrows are also really good. However you're doing your eyebrows is kind of working for you. Let's pull two next. We have nails and natural. You guys are actually my group where I would not put nail polish on. I think the people that are naturally attracted to you maybe find it tacky or something like that. Obviously, if you guys just love putting on your nails and the whole beginning part of the reading resonated with you, take this with a grain of salt. This is just one small portion of the physical reading. But I do think that this is what people prefer of you. I feel like people think that when you get your nails done, it looks cheesy or something like that. We also have all of you, and this is my signal to say that this is just a small portion of the people have this belief, right? It might just be that your nails just look better natural, honestly. And maybe you guys have actually been debating, like, should I wear nails? Should I not wear nails? And really your hands and your fingers look great naturally. Like I would have a very natural look when it comes to your nails. I think that's like something, but also all of you clean and tough. So for example, I think people like, this is what a weird message. People like that you are tough on yourself about your own cleanliness, you know? Like people are like very like that you like take care of your cleanliness. Tough is coming through for my men too. Like there's something about your strength for women that like you, you know, it's like that you're a clean cut guy, but you're also tough. You know, this is kind of coming out for my men that are watching this group. There's something about being clean cut yet tough. So like, I guess like, it's funny. I'm hearing like women describing you for my men as like, you know, like they, you know, clean cut guys are always like such wimps or something like that. Or they're such like pansies, or they're so like maybe metrosexual in like a negative term. And I don't think these people are saying this necessarily like, how do I put this? Like, I feel like the people who are attracted to you aren't offensive. I'm saying this in kind of an offensive way to reveal their inner thoughts. But this is not something they would say. They would say this in a much nicer way. But with clean and tough, this is the feeling of like, you know, they're so like clean and like put together, but they also have this tough outer exterior where they're not like, they're not afraid to be the tough guy, or they're not afraid to be strong, or they're not afraid to have that kind of like tough attitude, right? And also with all of you, I really feel like for my men, specifically, because this does feel like a message for men. I think all of you does apply because it came right after nails and natural. It does apply that like someone's gonna like all of you. Like there's a feeling that people appreciate the whole package. So especially for this group, people, there's not like a specific thing physically that people are like, oh, their butt, or oh, they're this, or oh, they're that, you know? Or like, I love their smile, whatever. It's like very much like the whole package. Like oftentimes what we get with all of you is like the collective look. Like everything fits together, everything feels good when people look at you physically. It's often like a full body attraction. And for my men especially, there's the full body attractions. We also have style, soft, and neck. Okay, so with style, soft, and neck, I feel like you guys have kind of a softer style. So for example, that kind of goes along with my men with the clean cut look. It's like your look is soft and gentle, but you might have like, which is funny, it might accentuate the toughness of your like personality or your look or something like that. Like the clean and soft things you wear might actually bring out a more, your physical appearance might look tough in contrast to that clean and soft style is what I'm seeing for my men. For my women, the style and the softness actually accentuates more of that in you. So no matter what, for both of you guys, your style and your softness, however you dress, however you wear your clothes, people are really like attracted to the way it accentuates your natural sexuality and gender orientation. So for example, whatever the soft like colors are or the style, for some reason, no matter what gender you are, that specific way of dressing matches your guys's gender that you are. So really it just matches you, honestly. And with neck here, I'm getting a thing about turtlenecks. Because style soft is making me think of turtlenecks. I honestly feel like people like you in turtlenecks, whatever that means, right? Curious to see more and touch. Okay. I feel like you guys keep people at a distance when it comes to physical contact. Maybe there's a feeling that like, you know, people might want to get closer touching wise to you. There's a feeling that people want to make physical contact with you. You know, there is this feeling that people want to see how you touch them, you know, something like that. This is kind of piquing people's sexual interest and their interest in intimacy. We also have feet. We have taste. Oh my God, I know what this is. You inspire a lot of sexual feelings in people. I'm sorry. And you also have smile. Just imagine all these together. What happens when you know what someone's feet taste like? You know what you're doing there. And with smile there, this is just saying this makes people happier. They want to do this to you and see you smile about it. Whatever, right? This is really the group that is getting, you know, just a little more... I'm trying to describe these things in a more neutral way, right? Like, really I am. You know, and I'm trying not to be too graphic. Oh my God. This is so difficult in this group. Why is this so difficult? We have underwear, we have voice, and we have torso. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, that's a nice message, right? Like, I think there's a feeling that, okay. So these are actually coming out separate. Okay. So with underwear and torso, there is something about that combination that people really like about you. There's something about the way your underwear looks on your torso that is really attractive. For my men, I'm specifically getting like, what's it called? Like hair on your stomach, something like that. Like the pattern of body hair on your stomach. I'm seeing that in my mind's eye. And also voice. I feel like you guys have an incredible voice. People love listening to your voice. That is the final thing we're going to bring up today in today's physical reading, that your voice is just beautiful. Like people talking is going to be good. Whoa. And all the I just breathed on the cards and they all just quivered. Yeah. People like to hear you talk. Also with torso and underwear, I don't know. Like the thing I got was like whispering things to your torso. Like, I don't know, like someone like when you're wearing your underwear, like whispering things as they like take off your underwear or something like, I don't know. This is getting really sexual. And I apologize for those of you who are not into this part of the reading. You can just kind of ignore this because I feel like people are actually really attracted to you in this kind of physical way. It's just very much, how do I put this? It's just that kind of energy for you guys. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Some of you don't like this. Some of you want to have a more neutral, non-sexual existence, or you don't want it to be the primary focus, but you attract a lot of people who want to get it on. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's something about that. If you are, turning down people and stuff like that, it does inspire them to curious to see more. I think a lot of people are going to have private fantasies about you. Just keep that in mind. If you want to check out my readings of who's obsessed with you, that might help too, because sometimes those readings can help who is actually having those feelings. With abdomen, laugh, and eyes, or I have ones about secret admirers too. Those would be good for you guys as well, because those might actually really resonate for you. Abdomen, laugh, and eyes. This came out first, and I want to point out this is the number one feature, right? This is the thing that also, because you guys are looking for platonic connections, at least right now. I feel like with abdomen, laugh, and eyes, I mean, some of you have embraced this kind of sexual energy in your inner freak, so to speak. But with abdomen, laugh, and eyes, this is the part that's really heartwarming, right? This is the part that people feel close to you. And also people just feel connected to you in these moments. And they feel like you're a real human. And that talking about your experiences in the past reading, it's like they really feel like you've gone through things. And, you just keep a positive attitude about it. You know how to laugh at life. You don't take anything too seriously. All experiences are just experiences. And there's no need to, have a heavy seriousness about really anything is kind of the vibe that I'm getting with you guys. Anyway, that's your reading. That's the physical portion of the reading. Thanks for sticking around. If you want to like or comment below, please do that. It helps out the channel. Subscribe if you feel like this portion of the reading resonated. Sorry. Yeah, laugh, abdomen, and eyes is just flowing to the crocodile, right? So if this portion of the reading resonated as well as the other portion, feel free to subscribe. If you think other readings in the future are going to work out for you as well. Thank you guys again for watching. Honor to read for you as always. And for those of you returning, and catch you guys in the next one. Hey, group 4, if you chose the fire ant, let's get into your reading about your compliments. Let's beef you up. A lot of stuff is coming through in today's reading besides compliments, besides just what makes you great. There's a lot of other stuff coming in, at least for some of the other groups. So I expect a lot of that extra stuff to come in for you guys as well. At the very end, I've been forgetting to pull physical traits, so I'm doing a separate section at the end of the reading for physical traits. Make sure to check that out in the timestamp section if you're curious about if you want some compliments on your physical features, right? Let's get into this reading. So we have the Astro cards. I'm going to pull 2 Astro cards for you guys. Also, the first message that's coming through before the reading even starts, this just might be confirmation pile or just a message maybe you need to hear besides the reading, but we have Fire Ant, and I walked into my house today ready to do the reading, and it was 78 degrees in my house, which to me, that's really hot. So we also have the Fire Ant, so it feels like heat could be a theme. Let's see, we have opposition and root. Okay. Let's get you 2 playing cards. Let's see. Let's get 2 playing cards for you guys. 2 playing cards for what makes group 4 spectacular. What's all about, how can I beef them up today? I need to spoil them with compliments. Help me do that. Cool, okay. Let's see. What's the next deck? Oh yeah, this one. Okay, so now we're gonna get some tarot cards, and then we'll get right into your reading. This Ace of Spades is technically in reverse, right? This would be it upright. This is it technically in reverse. So I'm curious if you do get any reverse tarot cards, if there's some symbolism to that, or if maybe the upright tarot cards also need to be interpreted as reversed. There's something about either your inner mind or something going on within the self for you guys that needs to be complemented. Let's see, okay. Let's see. Okay, so you did get a reverse card, so that's kind of what I'm going to be reading as something that's pretty important. And it's good news. It came out right next to the Ace of Spades. So that's cool. It's like very synchronistic, right? That, you know, I read cards in proximity. They kind of link together if they're in proximity with each other. Yeah, let's get into your reading. First of all, with some of this energy right over here, I can see why you guys struggle just a little bit, as far as like why compliments are beneficial for you, because it's with this inner card, it's really imperative that this gets seen by someone. I'm glad I see it in your reading today, because I feel like no one sees this side of you. And it's through no fault of your own. It's like other people's issues, right? Hold on, let me look more over it. Oh, so strange. Okay, let's look here. Wow, okay. Okay, let's get into your reading. In some systems, this Ace of Spades usually represents a secret. Like, there's a slightly more well-known, there's different ways of reading cards, honestly. There's so many different ways, and there's so many different interpretations. A lot of people have a lot of different ways of reading them, a lot of different interpretations. That's why when I do playing cards, I tend to write my own, or I tend to go with my own instinctual interpretations of them. It's very similar to tarot, where it's your interpretation of the cards that matters for the divination purposes. But Ace of Spades in some systems, and this meaning is coming to mind of a secret, right, or something hidden. This also represents a cutting from within. But it's interesting, it's paired with the Ace of Cups, and because this is in reverse and it's echoing this card that came out right after it, and because after we drew this card, I knew whatever reverse card comes out is going to be very important with this card. Something I can really compliment you on just right off the bat is your penetrating insight into your own psychological work. You guys are masters of the inner world game. I feel like you guys have dealt with a lot of dark and destructive thoughts your whole life long. There's a feeling that you were born with these thoughts, that you were always having fears and nightmares internally. There is a feeling too that, no judgment or anything, but in your youth, before you were able to work on these, it could have come across as bullying to others, because we do have opposition with confrontation here. It is kind of this energy that you deal with throughout your life, is this feeling of opposition with other people. And maybe in some regard, but what I'm seeing here is there's some opposition from other people. And what I've noticed is you guys have realized that you don't need to confront others to deal with confrontation. It's like sometimes confrontation comes to you. But the good thing is you guys are able to stand on your own 2 feet in any kind of battle, any kind of confrontation, right? The confrontations now, I would say, in your life are a little more psychological, and they're based on other people's projections towards you. Where before, I think the confrontations were more about your inner nature being kind of disrupted in and of itself, and then that coming out towards others, as far as just it being in your nature to be kind of confrontational in youth, right? Here's the beautiful thing though. I feel like at this point, first I want to compliment you on all the psychological work you've been doing, right? With the cup energy and the spade energy, both in reverse, you've done a lot of inner work. You've done a lot of inner, how do I put this? You've battled inner demons, and you've been doing this since day one, right? If you have had, how do I put this? This is not your group if you have not had a life where you have always had dark thoughts, where they've always haunted you ever since you can remember. You don't remember ever having a peaceful mind, but you pulled yourself out of it by sheer guts and determination, right? That's the vibe of this group. You guys are my push ahead workers, and you have a lot of endurance, and it's because you've had to deal with so much crap early on in life, right? Specifically crap that was your own mind created, right? I don't really have an astrology placement for this, but I think that maybe there is an astrology placement for this. My guess is something with the 12th house or something, with the concept of the 12th house being self-sabotage, or Something about the inner mind having like a heavy planet there, like Saturn or Mars or something. Any of the like the 4th, 8th, or 12th houses are all more like the inward houses, I would say. Anyway, point being is you guys have really cut away all the problems that have been in your mind since day one. It's like there was just this epiphany one day and you were like, no. My mind is not going to be a web of nightmares for me. My mind is going to be full of love. I'm going to love myself and I'm going to show these nightmares love, and I'm going to counter them with self-love and belief in myself, right? With this dove diving upwards towards the cup, there is this feeling of making your mind feel peaceful. It's like no matter how dark or disturbing it was earlier in life, as you progress through life, your mind becomes increasingly more peaceful as you advance. You know, some people's minds don't do this. They go in the opposite direction. You know, they start with these like blissed out fantasies and they end life with kind of like a destructive kind of like mindset towards the end, you know. That could be kind of sad, you know. And I'm even feeling like I bring past lives up in the other groups too, so I might as well do it in this group. As far as like past lives go, I think you have this like learning thing with your lives where like every other life you go in different directions. So like, for example, your last life, you started with a really peaceful mind and you learned what it was to endure difficult thoughts towards the end of life, right? This lifetime, you are starting with the difficult thoughts and you're learning to go back to that peaceful mind. For whatever reason, in multiple lifetimes, you need this oscillating effect in order to experience both sides of the spectrum, what self-love and internal love feels like, and having peace of mind and having peace of the soul, right? Like your soul, you have your soul being at peace versus having your soul in torment or having your soul struggle in some way, shape, or form. Now, because these are two aces, right? These things represent things happening for yourself. It's like, and especially with this devil energy here, people in your environment, this is something that's probably going to resonate with a lot of you, don't really see that you love yourself, right? It's not like they can really see it. I mean, it might come out in some ways, but they don't, it flies over their head or something like that. Also with the Ace of Spades here, people never saw your struggle. For those people who thought you were just lashing out at them, like because they thought you were a bully or they thought you actually had like ill intent or you were like in general just confrontational, that's not the case. You were dealing with some serious demons, right? With the Devil card here. And the compliment I want to give you is kudos to you for getting through that crap, right? Because honestly, some of us, it's sad in life, but some of us just have a harder path than others. And I see yours is a path of endurance, some confrontation, opposition from others. But it's interesting. It's like through this opposing attitude toward other people that I saw you had to take on in your younger years. It may have had people keep distance from you, right? Like in that way, I feel like people were less attracted to you or you were more of a loner because when you would say something to people, they would say like, oh, I'm not being around them. They're mean. You know, you might've gotten this as a child, like they're mean or they're too strong for me or they're a bully or, maybe other parents, would tell their children like, oh, they're just a tomboy, like, and if you think they're mean, just avoid them, whatever the case may be. Maybe you had some altercations in childhood, I don't know. But with Ace of Cups here, right, you're moving into this self-loving energy and it will continue for the rest of your life. If you ever fear like slipping back into past fears of like your younger days and stuff, that's not the case. I'm trying to look for spiritual indicators. I don't see too many. So maybe some of you guys are not super spiritual. You just like tarot readings and you're not super like into too many extra woo topics or something like that. You guys might be some of my group that's very grounded in general. But with the Ace of Cups here, you're moving into this self-loving energy. Your inner world is going to have more and more peace. Here's the issue, and you guys are already going to know this. This is the thing. Like, if this reading's not resonating, it's not yours, right? You guys have people who think you need to heal. You attract a lot of people who, here's the thing with the Devil card, they project their shadow onto you, right? And it's because you're growing into a peaceful person and you're leaving your shadows behind. In a way, there's two things happening. They're trying to project their shadowy traits onto you so they can feel like they're the ones with the self-love or they're the ones with the loving energy. It's not really the case in this situation. I also see that you have other people attracted to you for your strength, for your kindness, for your generosity, because I see you're growing into this kind of person, right? With the devil energy here, the people who do project onto you may get confrontational with you at this current point. Now, the good thing is, I feel like you guys handle this conflict really, really well. I think there's been a lot of thinking about how you got into conflicting situations in your youth, and because of that, you know how to handle confrontation really well. Plus, on top of that, you have this peaceful attitude that's growing within you. So even if you have a fight with someone right now, say you're one of my younger viewers watching this, and and right now you're just going through this, maybe people are projecting their shadows onto you and saying that like, oh, you need love, you need healing, you are this type of person, when really they're dealing with it. Does that make sense? Like, they might be dealing with something specifically and they're projecting it onto you. It's actually going to be a really good exercise in because you guys have a psychic ability. You wouldn't guess it, but it's through confrontation. It's through other people confronting you. It's like people are speaking their own fears to you, and they're trying to confront you about them being your fears. It's total projection 101, right? And I see that you guys are not necessarily like calling these people out on their dark thoughts. You're thinking in your head like, man, it must suck to have those dark thoughts, and it must suck for you to think that I have them. But ultimately, I see you guys in this peaceful energy. It's like no matter how much confrontation you dealt earlier, you're growing into a more harmonious, what's it called? Like diplomatic kind of energy. And I hear for some of you, you're like, but it's so annoying. It's so annoying that people think I have all this ill intent when I don't, and that's just their issue. It really is. It's their issue. People oftentimes, how do I put it? Like, it's not super often, but I feel like in your guys' life, it's often, will project darker thoughts onto someone else if they feel like they can't handle them themselves, or just throw it on someone else. And sometimes this comes out verbally or through confrontation or something like that. Lucky for you guys, the more diplomatic you become, the more easy it is to handle these people, the less opposition you will have in your life. This is just something that I'm noticing you deal with. And it's more of so you can be seen, right? Because like I was saying earlier, it's not a thing that a lot of people see. People might just view you in a very superficial way as someone who attracts confrontation or is confrontational. You may have had past relationships where people were like, oh, they're too much drama, whatever the case may be, right? But the thing is, it's just, I want to tell you guys, you are seen. I see your path of growth. I see where you're growing into. You're growing into a more loving mindset. That's what I see. And I think that because it's happening internally and all this shadow and opposition stuff is external, it's very much the vibe of like a warrior who suffers in silence, but is, looking for peace in the long run. And I just want to say that's not necessarily an easy path. And, that's okay. The truth is you can handle it, right? You set yourself up in this lifetime to handle this. Like, you guys can handle it. And luckily, most of you watching this at this point in time are already aware of that. It's just that no one else is. So it's like, you're aware of your destiny. You're aware of your path. You're aware that your path is one of self-compassion and self-love. And you're aware that your path is of cutting away dark thoughts and working on those in psychological fashion, right? You're aware of this. But it's like no one can see it. It's like if you try to tell people this, it's like they don't believe you, or they because you deal with projection with this devil energy here, right? She's looking into a mirror. It's like people look at you and they see themselves, and sometimes they hate what they see. Sometimes they might like what they see. In the long run, I do think people eventually will start to project shadow attributes on you, and then how you reflect them. How do I put this? You're reflecting their shadow. This is a compliment for the future you, right? This is something that you will do in the future. This is something that's coming later. You can look forward to this. And this is something I want to compliment you on. Even though it's happening in the future, I want to compliment you on it right now, because you're the one that's going to end up be doing this. When they project their shadow attribute on you, in a way, you will start to be able to reflect the healed version of whatever that shadow is back to them. And in that way, it's going to gain you a lot of admiration and respect in the long run. So through a little bit of confrontation, you will actually attract really loyal friends, right? In a way, with this fire ant energy, I don't like using the thing as a message for the reading, because I just use it as like strictly an indicator. But in this reading, I am using it. I think I did it in the last one too. But this is like this feeling of centering or going towards one point, where all the ants are traveling towards one point. In a way, you're kind of a beacon for this feeling of like opposition / healing. You know, you're healing through confrontation. You know, you are a spiritual warrior. You really are. And some of you don't resonate with the term spiritual. You don't necessarily have a specific belief system. You're very psychological. You're not necessarily spiritual. You believe in psychology. You believe in logic and rationality to battle things, you know, with a heavy dose of self-compassion and love. And I see that you have really put yourself through, like, and you didn't, it's not you put yourself through the ringer, it's that you had to put yourself through the ringer to get out of this situation, right? You have done a phenomenal job with the struggle, right? Maybe you guys feel guilty about confrontations from the past. Maybe you feel guilty about confrontations that have happened in the past. I feel like some of you have thought, like, if I was only more loving then, I wouldn't have said those words. I feel guilty about that now. What if I hurt that person's feelings? That's also, like, this is going to sound a little harsh, but that's also their karma to deal with as well. Like, they were meant to deal with you when you were confrontational just as much as you were meant to confront them in your early years, right? And these people kind of confronting you, it's kind of in a way a reversal of that karma as you continue to grow more lovingly into the future. And you will make up for it in spades in the future, as far as like how much love you're going to share with other people, right? You're becoming more peaceful and loving yourself. It feels very much like these confrontations become less and less the more self-love you develop. It's just you're in this intermediate phase where you still have some dark thoughts, and it's like half of you self-love, half of you dark thoughts. So you are attracting these kind of shadowy inner like people into your life that are projecting on you a little bit, right? It's funny, I'm seeing this guy playing music, and these people that confront you, it almost becomes this dance. It feels like it's becoming this dance or this thing where, you know, when they come into your life, you're like, I know how to do this dance. And you just get really good at it. You know, you get really good at maneuvering through conflict. You get really good at like stopping an attack if someone's trying to attack you. You get really good at reversing it on them. And at this point, you're extremely well-versed. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little confused here. This is the older version of you that I already complimented. You will become extremely well versed in showing love in a confrontational way, right? So someone says, "Oh my gosh, look at you! I can't believe you!" Blah 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 blah, right? And you might reflect that quality back to them in a loving way. It's hard to like explain. I know you guys will master this at some point, and maybe some of you are already doing it, I don't know. But it does feel like a gift in the future, for sure. So that's one thing I want to compliment you on. Just the struggle itself, the fact that you've been through it, the fact that you're strong, the fact that no one sees this inner world, this inner torment. It's like you guys have an inner battle as well. And people don't see that. You know, people might blame you for things, but they don't see that inner struggle, that inner growth that you've really put yourself through. I think the more you heal yourself too, the less these shadow people, or these people who project their shadow onto you, you will deal with in the future. You know, it's probably a part of your early growth and development. The devil, there's undertones of liberation or eventual liberation, because these chains around their neck, they can take them off eventually. Or they don't realize they're stuck in this, but they can be easily free of it, that kind of thing. So it does feel like there's an aspect of liberation to this and these types of people. But even if these people stay in your life for forever, you will know how to do this dance. Like, you've done this dance a million times, and you're getting better and better at being diplomatic about it. It's the difference between someone going into a conflict situation, guns blazing, fists flaring, super angry, and just hitting whatever they can find, right? Versus someone who's calculated and waits. And when someone throws a punch at them, they dodge. It's giving very much vibes of like like starting out with a child's temper tantrum growing up, and then ending as like a master of jujitsu, right? Where you're using someone else's force against them and throwing it back in their face. And eventually you'll be throwing that force back in their face in a healing way. So you will be learning how to heal through confrontation. Let's get over into these aspects. First of all, this 9 of Diamonds, you guys have really pushed ahead in your financial security and your career. I feel like you guys are on a pretty, like a solid path, right? For me, nines represent kind of like just the struggle of life of trying to achieve this, with the Ace of Swords here, I do see this sense of victory. There's a sense of victory, or whatever your financial goals are, you will achieve. And I'm just, once again, like the amount of willpower you guys have to push through all this stuff in this lifetime. You were blessed with really strong roots. Like, first of all, with the I can't pronounce that, coli, when you're blessed with really strong roots, this is the root of the astrological chart. It's your foundation. I really feel like something, I can compliment you on is, and this is kind of something that maybe you feel like you didn't choose. This is kind of like a fated thing, but I feel like you have a really strong family dynamic. I feel like there's something about your father or mother, or the way you grew up, or your guardian, or your family dynamic that built you with strength. Like, these are the people that taught you how to endure. These are the people who taught you that, if you just push through a little more, there's a reward at the end of the tunnel. These are the people who taught you endurance, right? Here's the other thing with Ace of Swords, you guys always win. Like, I can compliment you on this. You have the determination to always win, whatever it is, any competition, any situation, through sheer determination and pushing through with your willpower, right? Ace of Swords with this crown here is a victory, right? This is really the positive side of your life. Like, this seems more like a struggle and something that you've worked on, and that's been something that you've had to work on. This feels more like a strength. This Nine of Diamonds normally represents struggle and obstacles to overcome things, but really it feels like a strength. It feels like you almost enjoy the struggle, or you enjoy the obstacle. You enjoy, how do I put this? You enjoy the challenge to overcome things, right? And you enjoy being victorious. I really feel like I want to compliment you guys also on the fact that, how do I put this? Like, not a lot of people have these push through qualities, people give up, it's actually like, and some people have this as their like life path, right? For the opposite, people have it. Like, for me, I have this as my life path where, if I have an obstacle, like if I go around it, I'm rewarded, right? Literally in my life and in my personal life path, I am, how do I put this? Rewarded for not using confrontation. Like, confrontation comes really difficult for me, actually, as a person. I've had to use it in particular moments of my life, and I've gotten better at it, but I have a more like intuitive mindset where I'm kind of like, I know how to get there without like interacting with any obstacles, right? But you guys are kind of like, obstacle, bring it on. Like, that's the vibe you guys got. And I kind of envy this attitude just a little bit, because it's kind of like, you guys view life as kind of this like roller coaster ride or like video game that you have to like beat all the challenges to get to the next level. And it's like all the time you're getting these victories, right? I really feel like you guys love adventure. I feel like you guys love any kind of challenge, any kind of contest, any kind of thing where you can put your wits and your willpower to the test. Also, with the diamonds energy, I want to let you guys know that if you're ever worried about losing this endurance, like, oh man, what if I get worn down or burnt out or something like that? Not in this lifetime, sorry to say. I know this is going to sound silly, but it's almost like burnout is just a myth for you guys. Like, it feels like that. It feels like either you know when to rest already, you've already mastered this skill of knowing when you're not going to burn out and you are going to burn out. But it just in general feels like, especially with this diamonds energy, you're going to have the endurance for the long haul. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of your life, like, you are in great shape. I feel like by the end of your life, you are going to be in such good physical shape. I also think by the end of your life, you are going to have a vitality that keeps you alive a lot longer than other members of your family. Not to scare you or anything, but I'm just going to be real. Sometimes, we don't know who's going to outlive who. We don't know who's dying first. We don't know who's going to outlive who. Sometimes that's stuff that's really not up to us to like choose, in a way. But it feels very much like you guys are the last ones standing. And that can come in many regards. That actual message applies in so many situations in your life. Last one standing. You can think of that as kind of like your mantra or motto for like who you are almost. And that's so cool that you always come out on top. Like, you guys are the ones that are always victorious. You know, the difficulties might be hard, but the good thing is you guys were blessed in this lifetime with an incredible willpower. And that's something that makes you very, very unique. Not a lot of people have this kind of willpower. A lot of people give up. A lot of people struggle and don't know how to overcome obstacles. But because your inner world was so confrontational to begin with, it's like you were born of fire, right? You were born of fire. You were born of determination. You were born of the guts to get ahead. Now, one of the last messages I want to talk about with the Strength card, there's a little bit of symbolism here. Like if you look at this card with the opposition, there's two circles and a line between them. Very kind of direct energy, where if you look at this infinity symbol, the two circles have molded together and they're unified and they're flowing back and forth. This is a feeling of flowing, fluid energy. You guys may have started life with this kind of, I'm almost getting your physical form actually. There's a physicality of like abruptness or like big moves, like big move outward or like big reaction or something like that. With the strength energy here, I really think, especially with if you find an animal companion that you really connect with, I'm seeing, you know, like an animal companion that lets you express affection and softness. Because for you guys, I feel like sometimes it feels like you connect better with animals than people, something like that. I feel like if you have a pet, they're extremely loyal to you. If you have a pet, they're a spiritual experience for you, something like that. But also it's just in general, as your kindness grows, as the self-love grows, you're going to create a more flowing dynamic between people. You'll notice confrontations quickly become conversations. You'll notice, trying to think of another example for this. Someone's forceful attitude will quickly turn into softness based on how you're presenting yourself, how you are reacting to them. You know, it's almost like you guys are learning how to tame the wild beasts of this world purely by the fact that you've dealt with the wild beasts from within. That's the message I'm getting. And I'm going to end the reading on that note. Honestly, this feels like the right time to end it. Yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. You know what? If you want to support the channel, you really enjoy the messages or whatever, and you want to help this channel grow, you can like or comment below. Also, if you felt this reading really resonated and you think other readings like this are going to resonate in the future for you, you can subscribe to my channel. That's always a cool thing if you want to catch up with new videos and stuff like that. It was really an honor to read for you guys today. You have a really powerful energy. And I think that overall, you're gonna you have this endurance about you. And this is something, real quick, I want to say one more message. This is something that, this endurance, like this has been something you've been building through multiple lifetimes. I mean, this aspect going between like starting with, you know, a pretty inner world to a conflictual inner world, or starting with a conflictual inner world to a pretty inner world. That's something that alternates. But the thing you're constantly building and that your soul is building over and over again is an indomitable spirit. I don't think you guys can, I see you either in this lifetime or the next lifetime, like achieving a high standing in society, high position of wealth. You have the determination to push through anything. Like whatever you want to achieve, you really can achieve it. There are aspects of fate, and I want to bring that up. Like there's certain things that are just not going to happen for some people, and they are going to happen for other people. Like as a tarot reader, you see these things, you see how some people just have a certain fate and other people have a little bit more will to change it. You guys have a lot of free will. Really whatever you want is on the page, like you can really have whatever, you have this victory sword here, and I really feel like it's this yes to your indomitable energy. Okay, so it was really an honor to read for you. I'm going to move on now to the next group. Thanks again. Catch you guys in the next pick a card. Bye. Okay, everyone who is the Fire Ant group, here's the physical traits portion of your reading. So let's get into it. Okay, let's see what you guys have. These three want to come out. This is just complimenting you on your physical traits. And let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, so you guys have really soft eyes, or there's something about your jewelry that you wear that makes your eyes look soft, something like that. There's something about Something about jewelry, like there could be earrings that you wear, you could have an eyebrow piercing. There's something about your eyes looking soft because of jewelry. So the main thing I could think is like an eyebrow piercing or like earrings or something like that. Even for some of you, the way your necklace shines makes your eyes look soft. Let's see. And this is something that people really like about you, or there's just a really nice aspect to you in this regard. I also think that people like all of you. And there's something about the way your particular chest accentuates like the entire body of you guys. Like there's something about the way your chest accentuates like the whole picture. Now it's not that like your chest is like the feature and then the rest of you is like crap. It's like the chest ties it all in together and it's like all of you is amazing, right? It's just that it's like almost like I feel like you guys lead with your chest, maybe with pride or something. I don't know. We also have underwear and makeup. This is funny. I feel like you guys, the message that's coming through, even though, I want to get one more actually. Let's see what else. And natural. Okay. Yeah. The message that's coming through is that like, how you make up your outfits when it comes to your underwear. Like anyone who's seen you in like lingerie knows that you wear like extremely elegant lingerie, or there's something about like, you have a very natural look in like elegant underwear, something like that. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with makeup here. It's like the way you put together an outfit when it comes to your undergarments is like really amazing. We have jaw and eye contact. It's so interesting. The combinations here are so interesting. You wouldn't naturally see them together. But I do think there's something about your eye contact and like lowering your jaw or like lifting your jaw or something while you're making eye contact at someone, like resetting your jaw either upward or lower when you make eye contact. I think that's something that people like when you look at them. There's something intriguing about that. We also have back, we have posture, and we have hair. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is where the one group was just entirely sexual. Like people just viewed them that way. Like they had a lot of sexual allure and stuff like that. This is the part, this particular part is how people are really drawn to you. If you ever wear your hair down, or in general, just the back of your hair or something like that, your hair matched with your back and your posture, something about your back is really draws people in sexually. There's something about the elegance of your back or how your back is, and specifically your posture and how you hold yourself. I really feel like you guys hold yourself with some kind of dignity. I'm seeing that again with jaw and eye contact. There's a sense of dignity, or there's this sense of like something about your back and your posture, and then your hair flowing down that area. You know, for my guys, I just think you have a well-developed back, like a muscular back, something like that. Or there's something about your back that's really intriguing to a lot of people. We have voice and we have arms. I'm gonna pull one more for this. Voice, arms, and movement. Yeah. I feel like you guys gesticulate when you talk. Like when you talk, you move your arms around a lot. Or there's something about moving your arms around a lot when you speak. You might actually, like, I don't know how to explain it. You might communicate a lot with your arms as well, especially if you are deaf or hard of hearing. This especially applies. There's something about using your voice through your arms that's really attractive. So I feel like you are someone who, if you're of the hard of hearing community, if you do communicate in sign language, it comes off in a really beautiful way to other people. So other people who communicate with you in this way feel like you communicate beautifully with this method. Also just with movement and arms in general, I'm just seeing like a feeling of using your arms while talking, something like that. For those of you that are a sign language interpreter, this could be another confirmation, right? Yeah, let's see. We have one last thing for you guys as far as physical traits. We have abdomen and we have figure. Yeah, I think you guys all like have a really nice figure, especially with all of you in chest. You have a really proportional body is kind of what I'm seeing, or there's a feeling that the whole package looks really good. There's not like one area that stands out over another. It feels like the whole package is good. And with figure, I think you just have a really good figure. I feel like if you take photographs from the level of where your abdomen is, they will turn out really well. That's something I'm getting right here. If you take photographs from that angle, there's something about your photos turning out really well, something like that. There is also There's also a feeling that when people see your abdomens, they're like, oh yeah, go figure. Of course they have like a perfect abdomen too. You know, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. Um, yeah, I think that this is about covers it. Let's see what else. Yeah, I think that's it. That's kind of the physical things that I want to compliment you on. That are things that you guys do maybe, or things that you have accentuated in your physical form that are things that people are drawn to essentially, and things that you should be proud of. Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the next group now. If you guys like this physical portion of the reading, feel free to like or comment below. If you feel that other readings in the future are going to resonate, you can subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next pick a card and see you later. Bye. Hey, group 5, if you chose the wolf. There's a few things going on right now. There's a lawnmower in the back, so hopefully that doesn't bother you guys. You probably shouldn't be able to hear it if I'm talking, but in moments of in between when I'm talking, I'm just going to get a new reading. What the heck? Okay, so let's see. I just felt like doing it right now, and I felt like messages, I felt the impulse, and so I want to do it when I feel the impulse. And yeah, let's get into your reading. So how am I going to beef up group number 5? How am I going to, inflate their ego a little bit? Let's get to that part of everything. We have the 8th house, and we have the 9th house. Cool, cool, cool. Oh. This card fell off the deck and flew into a cubby that I have right next to my table. And it's Cancer, and it says immerse. I think there's something that you guys, just real quickly, this is just a side message. Sometimes these pop up in readings. They might have nothing to do with the reading, but sometimes I get messages from these. There is some kind of book or something that is in a drawer in your house that pretty soon you will find, and you will immerse yourself in this material. This could be an astrology book. This could be a book on cooking, right? This could be a cooking book. It's really anything that you can immerse yourself in and become completely involved with. So there's something in your house. It's in a drawer or a cabinet or something like that. This could even be you're cooking a meal and you get immersed in some ingredients or food or something like that. I don't know why I'm getting cooking, maybe because it's Cancer. There also could be some situations in general regarding something about this material protecting you or protecting others, or something about this nurturing your inner being, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, let me get into the rest of your reading. Let's see, we need tarot cards next. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards. Actually, no, we need the playing cards, yeah. Playing cards next. So let's get a few playing cards to help me complement and build up group 5 self-esteem. I'm not saying your self-esteem is low, but maybe you just want it to be a little bit higher. So let's see what cards are going to come out for group 5. We have the 6 of Hearts and the Queen of Hearts. Okay. Now we need some tarot cards for your guys' reading. Let's see. I just got the message because my lawn's getting mowed and I felt compelled to do the reading here. Some of you might need a haircut, or you're feeling it's time to change your hairstyle, or you've been thinking about that. The universe supports that hairstyle change is kind of what I'm hearing. They support, you going out and getting that new style. Whatever you're thinking of, it'll look good. So yeah, if you're nervous about it looking bad or something like that. Okay, let's move these up a bit because, let's see. If you're nervous about that new style looking bad or something like that, they're saying it's going to look good, or to go ahead and do it, just to keep things, what's it called? Keep things fresh, change it up, something like that. Okay, so let's look at this and then I'll get into your reading. A lot of side messages at the beginning of the reading, so hopefully you guys, some of you resonated with that. Okay, let's get into the meat of your pile. It's funny, I keep saying beef you up in meat and stuff. You have the wolf spirit, so okay, let's get into it. Oh wow, I literally was like, okay, I'm done analyzing the reading. I know exactly what I want to say, and at that moment, the lawnmower turned off. I don't know if the gardener still has some other things to do around my house. I have no clue. I don't like track what he's doing really. But like, yeah, so anyway, but the lawnmower just turned off. So that's kind of confirmation that we're gonna get into the reading and see what's coming up for you guys. There's a good amount to unpack here. I think more will come to me as I read as well. It feels like one of those readings. First, what should I, compliment you guys on? I want to point out a little bit of an issue first, like something that you might struggle with. But actually, I think a lot of people find this trait valuable in you or commendable, but I don't feel like it's something you necessarily share with other people. It's not something people see right off the bat. But it could be something you're worried that people would see right off the bat, or you're paranoid that people would perceive you in this specific way. And it all has to do with how you manage your money, right? I think you guys have this thing where you feel like if to be a good person, you have to save every single penny, or you have to be closed off in some way. Or you feel like in order to be a good person, or in order to be someone that people appreciate and like, you have to remain mysterious, or you have to remain closed off. That's kind of how do I put it? That's the personality trait that I'm seeing, that you feel like you have to keep that up. But also, I mainly want to bring up the money thing because this is coming through strongly for most of you. There's a feeling like you have to save money all the time, or that you have to constantly manage your finances. And I'm seeing that sometimes you guys want to let loose, but you keep yourself contained. This is my group who doesn't like to totally indulge in pleasures all the time because they're worried that if they do, other people are going to perceive them as weak or something like that. Or other people are going to perceive them. How do I explain this? It's like you're worried other people are going to perceive you as frivolous, or you're worried other people are going to perceive you as like lighthearted or indulgent or something like that. Or, weak-willed is coming to mind. I feel like a lot of you want to present with a strong willpower or a strong sense of health or something like that. There's a feeling that people are judging you for this, or there's a feeling that people are very aware of this, when really, with these cards being on the outside, so these cards being on the outside just represent that this is how you think people see you, but this is not necessarily how they see you. This is really showing up as inward traits, especially this Four of Pentacles right next to the Queen of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts represents you guys. I like how the lawnmower started up and it's like really loud. It almost feels like a it's reminding me, this it can't get 18 plus, but it's reminding me of a specific technical tool you would use in self-pleasure. That's all I'm going to say. The revving of the engine's reminding me of something like making a sound like that. So anyway, with the Queen of Hearts here, I feel like there's a strong vibe that you are very attractive, you are very sexy, you have an allure, you have a charisma because of a sense of mystery about you. But at the same time, it's okay to spend a little money, to luxuriate a little bit, to buy yourself something nice, to let yourself unravel just a little bit. First of all, I see you've collected and saved a shit ton of cash. There is a strong vibe. Sorry guys, hopefully that's not too loud. There is a strong vibe. There's a strong vibe that you have enough money saved in order to spend on some pleasures. You have enough money saved in order to spend on certain pleasures in your life. It wouldn't hurt you financially. Like, you could afford it. It's not really a question if you could afford it or not. It's a self-perception issue. It's like, I don't want to be perceived as someone that is, like a spendthrift or a shopaholic or something like that. There's this vibe of wanting to be perceived like you're responsible, or wanting to be perceived like you're financially responsible. I don't know if you were put into this role at some point by someone else, or if it's just something that you taught yourself, something like that. With the Queen of Hearts here, I really feel like you guys you have a sex appeal. You have this sex appeal. I feel like you have a romantic appeal. I feel like you're the type of woman or energy. I'm saying woman just because the Queen's here, and I actually feel like most of you watching are female that picked this pile, which is, I would assume a male would pick the wolf pile, right? But I think a lot of you are female. if you are not, and you are a male viewer of mine, you are looked at and idolized like Aphrodite or some kind of goddess of love. I would not be surprised if you guys have a very Venusian figure, right? And so the way this could show up in like men or something like that, like it would be like, it could either be that you have softer features. This applies for women too. You would have softer features. I guess for men, it would be something in like the way your muscles are shaped, or not so Martian, right? They're not like warrior-esque, they're like voluptuous or something like that. There's something about your body being more voluptuous if you're a male viewer of mine, and having a more like Venusian type of form. For my female viewers, I think a lot of men are attracted to you. I mentioned the soft features earlier. That might be something you all possess, is this feeling of soft features, and men are really drawn to that specifically, is what I'm seeing. That's something that really entrances them. I've just got a message too that you guys dress really well. Like you keep yourself presentable, you keep yourself, you take care of your body, right? The hearts are the body. The heart is the inside the body. It's the blood. It's the one suit that is representative of the human body, right? Out of all the playing cards, right? So it does usually represent people. It represents sexual attraction. It represents health. All these things you have in spades, right? Or you have in hearts, right? With the 8th house mystery, you guys are so mysterious, and not everyone carries this mystery. Not everyone has this ability to like pull people in, right? Oftentimes people want to be mysterious, right? Like oftentimes like girls on the internet, sorry, I'm dropping things. I'm so all over the place with this group. Maybe it's because you make me nervous. I don't know. Like, are you guys just that sexy that you're like making me nervous? I don't even know what you look like and you're making me nervous. Okay, so with the 8th house here, you have a sense of mystery, right? There's this feeling of mystery to you, and on this specific level where like you draw people in. Like I would be very surprised if you don't get approached a lot, right? Because people are curious to know more. Oftentimes, I feel like you guys, a lot of people ask you questions about yourself. Like, it's never like people coming at you and just talking about them. It's like you're so intriguing that people often are just asking you questions like, whoa, like, what's that about? Or why are you into that? Or why do you like that? You know, because that's the thing, like oftentimes when people are like curious about someone else, or they're interested, or they're trying to dig deeper into that person's personality, because maybe it's like someone they've never seen before, a type of person they've never met, they ask a lot of questions about that, their lifestyle and stuff like that. I see this can go in different ways for you guys. For some of you, it can go to the point where people are just trying to find out more about you because they see you as mysterious in kind of a way that they don't like. So they're like, we got to bring their inner world to light so I can understand it. That could be one method. Another method, honestly, the one that I'm seeing mostly, is that people like you who do this. There's this feeling that people are drawn to your mystery because they like you, they want to know more, because they have this never-ending curiosity. It really stimulates people like who are extroverts, and it also stimulates people who are introverted, especially who are not used to approaching people, right? People who are not used to being in the dominant role or the predatory role. They're not used to being in the role of approaching someone else. Maybe they're used to being the introvert. And I'm seeing a lot of introverts that are attracted to you are introverts who, how do I put this? They don't make the first move usually. Like they expect people to come to them. That's just kind of the vibe I'm getting. Like a lot of these introverted men, or introverts of the opposite sex, or the sex that's attracted to you and the sex that you're attracted to, a lot of these types of people that are introverts in their daily life don't approach people. They're non-sociable. They actually don't like to engage with people, and they're not curious about anyone. But because your sense of mystery is so intensely strong, right? You're so powerful in how you draw people in. Like, this is definitely a compliment, guys. Like, not a lot of people have this. And this is also, it's like having a sense of really high charisma through mystery. So the one thing I want to like let you guys know too is you might feel like you're constantly surrounded by extroverts. Like, man, people are constantly talking to me. They're constantly asking me questions. Like, people are so invasive. Like, I feel like you guys want to protect your space sometimes. You're like, you know, Sorry, the lawnmower is going loud again. But I feel like some of you want to protect your space sometimes, and it's just one of those things where it's like, man, I can't even do that or something like that. That might feel like a downside of this, and sometimes it might get overwhelming. But for the most part, I see this as something that is just a gift that you have that you maybe don't take advantage of or you don't realize is a gift. There's something so elusive and mysterious about you guys. I really feel like people just want to keep asking questions. They're just curious about more. They're curious to see more. One thing I do want to point out with these introverted types, I would say be gentle with the people you meet, because even though everybody seems extroverted, oftentimes a lot of these introverted types are so transfixed by your energy and they feel like approaching you. This is kind of like a feeling of like with this power that you guys have, you have to let people down in a very responsible way, because I'm seeing that a lot of these introverts, they've never approached someone before, and maybe they naturally feel comfortable in approaching women, but maybe they just lack the confidence, and maybe they are the types that are supposed to approach women. I'm going to use men and women as an example. You guys know this applies to all types of people, right? All different sexes and orientations and stuff like that. But I'm using men and women as this example because I feel like those archetypes apply in this sense. These introverted men, right, say you're not interested romantically, they don't approach people often, right? Because they don't find people interesting. These men are kind of constantly bored with everyone they meet, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting with them. And it's very interesting because with you guys choosing the wolf card, these men are kind of archetyped by this wolf. I know you guys picked the wolf. I don't know why you picked the wolf, but these men specifically are like lone wolves, right? They're isolated from the pack. They're introverted. No one fascinates them, and they're kind of cold-blooded in the sense that they kind of are not passionate until they become curious, and nothing really inspires their curiosity. So a lot of these men, even though everyone's going to seem extroverted to you that approaches you, you might get a lot of people that's like, I don't normally do this. I don't normally approach women. You know, you can take them at their word, or the people who say that, you most likely can take them at their word, because here's the thing, the thing to be aware of. This is the point I'm trying to get at, and I just need to say it. I just need to spit it out, Cody, because I'm trying to preface it, and it might come across as a harsher truth or something. But if you turn down someone or one of these men, and this is the first time they've ever approached you, the nature of these men is that like they could either go in one of two ways as far as their development. They could either shut down and never approach anyone again and tend to live a more lonely lifestyle, or you could be the first person that encourages them to keep their advances going, right? So this can be a good thing, because in our society, oftentimes, I'm not taking anyone's sides here. I'm just saying, like, this is a trend that can happen. This is a trend in some areas that happens. Men take a back seat. They're afraid to approach women. They're afraid to hit on women. They're afraid to tell women they're beautiful or attractive, because they don't want to come off as scary or creepy or anything like that. But these men in particular, they just don't find that many women interesting. But it's like, even if you turn them down, they're still going to become more of an extrovert when it comes to initiating things with women. And in a way, you kind of light this person's fire in a way for them to initiate future relationships and therefore connect more easily to love. So in a way, you guys have the ability to make people feel more loving towards themselves, towards others. You have a way of making other people feel more comfortable in their skin, especially, but it can go either way. That's what I'm saying. If you do that, making people feel more comfortable, opening people up, making people feel better about themselves, that's all your choice, right? I see you guys could have gone down either path before. And maybe you don't even realize how your reactions or how you reject, how the method, or like how do I put this with the rejection? It's like how you reject someone. It's not the rejection itself that's disappointing. It's like how you reject someone. It's the difference between letting someone down gently and like praising them for like approaching you. versus letting someone down harshly and saying like, I can't believe you hit on me like that. Like, you're such a loser. And I'm not saying you guys say those mean things. I'm just saying that like, just to be careful of your approach, because this could really be, you could really, as far as like your karma goes, you could be laying down some amazing, good, positive karma for your future by helping a lot of people like this, you know? You might get like extroverts who are just casual and curious and want to talk to you, and ultimately they might pass you by or they might talk to someone else. But a lot of these introverted men are going to make active attempts and future attempts to continue talking to you, right? Especially if you encourage their attempt, or you say like, or you don't reject them right off the bat, they will continue to make active attempts towards you. I guess that's another area to be careful of, especially you don't want to lead someone on either. That's kind of another area to be careful of. And I don't want to get too much into what you guys need to be careful of. This is a reading about complementing your strengths. It is just something, and I think it's the only thing that you really have to worry about necessarily, but I'm just looking out for like the men in this situation, that really, how do I put this? There's a lot of women out there who want to be approached by a man. They want to be pursued by a man. They believe it's the man's job to pursue the woman, right? There's a lot of women out there like this, right? You guys are a catalyzing force to encourage this behavior in men. So not only do they feel that it was okay to approach you, they feel it's okay to approach other women in the future, right? And you can even compliment their style. Like maybe you say, oh, you approached me in such an amazing way. Like you told me you were interested without like being rude or vulgar. I really appreciated that. Like not a lot of men approach people like that, but I'm not interested because blah, 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 or whatever's the nice way you're going to let them down. I'm going to let you guys figure that out. And really like even a simple intention goes a long way. Like even a simple intention of like when you are approaching them or when they're approaching you and you're turning them down can go a long way as far as like, like just saying like, I want this like just thinking in your head while you're saying these things, like I want to let this person down gently, how sweet of them. You guys have a lot of power over the initiative of the people of the opposite sex. We'll just say that. And kind of like having them either approach people or not. Okay, so with the Four of Pentacles, going back to the thing, like you can luxuriate a little bit. Like you can actually, like have a potato chip every once in a while, or you could buy that dress that you want to buy. You don't always have to kind of like make do with what you have and constantly save and save and save. That is something that's coming through, that you guys might be a little paranoid that people, you don't want to appear frivolous. You don't want to appear like this person who's going to like waste all the money in the world and, be left with nothing or something like that. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from you guys. You want to be seen as like reliable, right? But here's the thing. You think people are looking at you like you're reliable, but that's an inner trait, right? That's an inner trait. It's showing up. These two things are showing up on the outside because this is like, you're worried about this. It's like you're worried these are your outside characteristics when really this is like your inner stuff you're dealing with. Let's get into some other cards here. With the Page of Wands, I really feel like when you were a child, you were very passionate or creative in some way. I also feel like there were certain aspects of repetition to your life. So there could have been certain habits or behaviors that you would get stuck in. There's also a feeling of coming full circle with certain creative activities that you've done. So you might be the type of person where you start one creative project, then you start another one over here, you start a third one, and then you circle back to the first one, going to the second and then the third, and kind of rotating through them, or kind of keeping this energy with the baton and her, throwing the baton in the air and everything like that in this particular card. It's really representing like letting go of things, but then catching them when they fall back down. So it's like letting something go and then letting yourself catch it. And this applies to all of your passions and your creative projects, right? I feel like you guys are really good at when it's time to let go of something, or when you lose that childlike curiosity, when it comes to your passion projects, or when it comes to your passionate feelings, there's a feeling of like, oh, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to start something new. So there is this great feeling that when it comes to your hobbies, your projects, and your passions, you keep it fresh. You always keep it fresh. And that's really good because a lot of people will stick with a bad job, a bad situation, something they're not happy with, something they don't like, and they make themselves miserable. The thing is, you guys know how to cycle through your passions in a way that it's always keeping it fresh. You keep the flame alive no matter where you are. You know what? No matter what you're doing, it's like you just move on to the next thing, and that's something that's so incredibly beautiful about you guys. I want to get into the Two of Pentacles here. This is something, and here's the thing, these are the things that people value about you. These are the things that people see, right? People see that you're always passionate. They might wonder why, why do they always look full of life, or why do they always have this like sense of like health or liveliness about them? With the Queen of Hearts here, this is like just pure beauty. It's like beauty just orates off of you, but you know how to maneuver with your passions and your hobbies in a way where you never feel unhappy or stressed about them. And you can always circle back, and usually when you circle back, that passion's renewed. This keeps things in your life fresh, vibrant. It keeps your personality alive. With Page of Wands here, there's a youthfulness to you guys as well as a feeling of looking beautiful. So this is kind of something that I feel like you guys have like really easily. That's very inborn. It's something that you do all the time. It's the reason why you look so beautiful. It's the reason why you look so young or pretty or have your soft features, because of this kind of keeping that childlike curiosity alive and moving from project to project when the old project gets stale. With the Two of Pentacles here, this ties in with this, where you just balance your life effectively. There's something about people thinking you balance your life effortlessly, right? Like, I feel like you guys can manage a lot, or you can manage a lot of different areas of life, especially the practical areas of life is what I'm seeing. There's a feeling of kind of like working with different practical areas of life in a very, fruitful way. And just like the tide goes in and out, I think you guys kind of have this balancing act where you're kind of surfing the wave. This is a very intuitive energy. I feel like you guys are kind of surfing the wave of life. And it's kind of like combining both these energies here. I'm trying to look at we have Jupiter and Capricorn, I think is the two symbols. I think these areas of your life, you're very lucky, very similar to the mystery card. So I think that's all I want to say about that for now. I have a feeling there's more to this card than meets the eye, but we might get back into it. We talked about this luxuriating, spending some money on some things when you need to. This card is ruled by Venus, at least according to the author of this deck. And it's okay to indulge in pleasure every once in a while, that could even mean like letting one of these guys take you out on a date, letting one of these people that is attracted to you take you out on a date, let them wine or dine you, let them, like enjoy this experience of connecting with someone, because they don't connect with people often, right? Like oftentimes people like this don't connect with people often, and they will never approach anyone because they find society and humans boring. Like that is something you guys can take pride in, is that you are so unique and mysterious. You have a unique mystery about you where people are drawn to that, and it's not really unique. There's not like a feeling of like, oh, this person's different and that's why I like them. It's like this person has something that compels me to approach them. Right? And that's what I'm thinking. It's not even that you guys have a unique thing about you. It's like men are compelled to approach you. I know I keep saying men, and it just feels kind of like a lot of women are watching this group. That's why I'm saying it, but I am leaving it open because I know there's a small percentage of men watching this group, and this does happen to them where women actively provoke them to flirt with them and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But most of you, I feel like, are women in this group. One of the last things I want to say to you guys, there might be more, I'm going to look it over again, but one of the last things I want to say with the 9th house and exploration being right next to the 6 of Hearts, there's this feeling that if you go on trips, like out of the country, far away, whatever is a long trip to you, you really can think of the longest distance you've traveled, like ever, and whatever that trip is, like, if you ever go on a trip that is like, feels like that, like maybe your longest trip or your perimeter of your world is like a 7-hour drive away, and that's like all you do. Like you'll only drive 7 hours away from your home, something like that. When you go 7 hours away, that's a different world. That's a different town. That's a different environment. That could even be a different state if you're in the States, or a different region of your country if you're in another country, right? Watching this, and you're from somewhere other than the United States. But with 6 of Hearts here, a lot of connections that are really fortuitous, are going to pop into your life. And a lot of connections that are easy for you to also communicate with are going to pop into your life. So, I feel like around your hometown and stuff, people do approach you a lot. And there's this feeling that or wherever you live, sorry, I don't want to say hometown because that implies your birthplace. Wherever you live and your immediate neighborhood, I do feel like people approach you a lot. Oftentimes a lot of quiet guys will come up to you, stuff like that. But it gives me the vibe that people in your immediate environment are not mysterious to you. That's the thing. A lot of people are attracted to your mystery, but you're not really attracted to them. You can think of yourself as like very similar to these men that approach you, that you're the person bored with other people, right? And it's almost like it's all too easy. People approach me and it's too easy. People are always taking initiative. People are always approaching me. And for you guys, it feels like, I don't know how to explain this. It just feels like comfortable in a way that's not really romantic, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I feel like you express your passions, your hobbies, your motivation, and maybe even your sex drive in cyclical patterns that keep your energy very fresh, right? That's something else that could be possible, that you guys might not actually be in the mood for sex very often. Or like at the same time you're in a mood to be romantic or sexual in some way, that's also the same exact time you want to take a trip and escape. It's almost like you guys feel more romantic in other locations, faraway worlds, when you're traveling outside of your current environment. And with Six of Hearts here, I feel like there could be either like a lot of flings in faraway places, like for example, meeting foreigners and having like a rendezvous or a meeting with them and like connecting with them, something like that. It feels very strongly like finding love in a foreign land, for you guys specifically. And I really feel it's going to happen in a way that is not, it's just very serendipitous. Six of Hearts is like a fated thing. It's like connections you're meant to find or connections you're meant to experience. And it's not necessarily karmic. It's just like an opportunity. It kind of like with the Six of Hearts, it's like a relationship that just falls into your lap and works really effortlessly. And it's very fortuitous. This card, it kind of has a very, like Jupiterian energy, but also a very fated quality, and we usually associate fate with Saturn, but this card, my sixes in my perception of cards, represents like a very Jupiterian kind of situation. And it really represents an opportunity, an opening up of the pathway of love. I do think you feel mutual feelings when you are in another country experiencing love. But it's hard for you when you're in your hometown, it feels like, to experience those. Now, this is kind of a nice thing because I feel like you really protect the people in your hometown from feeling jealous about you, because you're keeping them all at arm's length is what it feels like. And it feels like this keeps the people in your environment from like fighting over you or creating conflict, if that makes sense. Because you guys have a very powerful mystery to you. It's very enigmatic, charismatic. It pulls people in. It's like an inward charisma that other people can sense. You might think like on the outside, you're not like super chatty or you're not super like extra with your personality. And you think, oh, maybe that's, in that way, that's charisma, right? But you guys have an inner charisma that pulls people to you. With the ninth house, the exploration card here, I also feel like there's this telescope. I feel like there's this feeling of like, it's almost like, when you look into the sky and you feel like the expansiveness of the universe and you feel larger and bigger than life. I feel like when you guys explore and travel, you get out of this oppressive, controlled, holding on to everything, and you let yourself experience life a little bit. You let yourself be bigger than you are. I think in a way, once you get out of your hometown, I mean, not to say you're probably still mysterious and sexy, but it's like the mystery weakens just a little bit where you're able to express yourself too. You're able to communicate with the people who like you. You're able to ask them questions. And I think this ninth house is like a curiosity. It's very easy. It's like people in your hometown, you know what their lives are like. You know their daily patterns. You know their daily routines. You know what people are doing. You know what their political beliefs are, wherever you live. you know what these things are. When you go exploring and you're learning about other cultures, I see you guys asking a lot of the questions. I see you getting into conversations with people where they're asking you questions, you're asking them questions, and that reciprocal interest, the fact that you're finding someone mysterious for once, I think that's what solidifies true love for you guys, honestly. So I really feel like chances are you're going to meet your future marriage partner in another country, far away from where you live, in another region. Like I said, it depends on how far away this place is from your residence. Like, it could just be the next town over if you only live in your town and are there for like the majority of your life, right? Or where you live. This is like extended travel to the point where you don't know the culture. That's the best way to put it. That's the way that I'm feeling most strongly here, is that, the air went off when I said that too. So that's confirmation of this knowledge, right? It's anywhere where you don't know where you're going into, right? It's foreign. It's mysterious. You're going to a mysterious location, a mysterious place where you need to learn. You need to explore and learn the lay of the land. You need to learn that opportunity. It's having the solid ground and the familiarity wiped out from under you and being thrown in something that is different or expansive or kind of making you feel like you're in the bigger universe. So that's where you meet people. That's where you're going to find these relationships with the locals or whatever, and you're going to have mutual exchange of information, and you're going to feel that love spark. That's where you guys feel that love spark. This is really cool because I really feel like you guys are going to have like such a cool relationship in the future. And that's something I want to compliment you on now, even though it's going to happen in the future. I really feel like whoever you settle down with is going to be like educated, worldly. They're going to, even when you're like romantically with this person, they're going to enjoy taking you on trips to meet more people, maybe people you won't be romantically with because you're taken, but just people you can be curious about in general. I mean, I think that ultimately you guys are meant to be explorers. You're meant to travel the world. You're meant to experience other cultures. You're meant to, like, in a way, explore your extroversion outside of your own mystery in a way that is very much like a physical, tangible thing. And with 9 of Pentacles here, I think there's a fear of like spending money on trips. I think there's a fear of like spending money on pleasures. I think there's a fear of like spending money on experiences and things that you enjoy. I feel like you guys are very Spartan in some regards. Like, I feel like you do have creative hobbies and you cycle back through those, and that kind of keeps you active here. But there are things that you can actually spend money on that bring you benefits. And I just want to say that it's okay. Like, you guys are masters at collecting and saving and keeping your resources to yourself, and just in general, kind of having this mindset of like, building your wealth for the future. And that's totally fine. That's a huge gift that you guys have. But it is okay to indulge every once in a while, right? Everything in moderation. As my friend Blaine would say, like, everything in moderation. This is also, I want to point this out too. If you've ever had a problem with a specific substance, I'm not condoning that, especially if you have spent a lot of work getting off this specific substance and you're a lot healthier because of that, or you're a lot more sane, or you have less problems because of that in your life. I want to encourage you to stay off of that particular thing. But when it comes to other pleasures, like, there are pleasures you can indulge in that you're not addicted to. And so I want to make that clear distinction here, because for some of you watching, there was a specific substance that you struggled with specifically. It's so funny. I said specific substance you struggled with specifically. I said specific twice. Anyway, I did want to circle back to this card. I felt like there was more there. The ocean is reminding me of traveling overseas. This is what it is. 2 of Pentacles also talks about balancing these 2 lives that you live, your life in other countries and like your pen pals and people that are foreign to you, and then your life at home, right? Your life at home base, or like the people that you surround yourself with. And I see that you're 2 different people in these different worlds just because of the nature of this dynamic of who you are. Here's the thing. If you're ever worried, like, oh my gosh, I'm living a double life, like, because I'm living a double life, like, I'm going to have all these issues and I won't be able to manage this or that or this or that. You will be able to manage it perfectly. You are meant to live a double life. A lot of people are not going to give you this kind of advice. A lot of people are going to say, well, you should really integrate your sides of your lives. And you should really, like, I can't remember. I had an ex-girlfriend once tell me, what did she say? She said, you can't be something to yourself and then a different person to the world and not go crazy or something like that. But I recently was reading over some letters we wrote to each other, and in my, like, from my life experience, I know that's bullshit, you know, and it's especially bullshit for you, you know. I feel like it's not bullshit for everyone, especially people who, how do I put this, like, need to learn to live authentically as themselves and not put on a facade for others. I see where that quote works for them. But for you guys, it is a feeling of, like, your karma in this lifetime is to experience two different types of realities, right? The reality of exploration and the unknown, and then the reality of the familiar, right? You're nurturing these people that approach you in your hometown. Like, you're meant to kind of open them up. Get them active. You know, I feel like you're more a catalyst for other people's romantic connections, whether you realize it or not. I feel like a lot of these lone wolf, solitary, cold-blooded, they're just like not warmed up by like passion, or not warmed up by like curiosity. I want to say curiosity because that's what it is. You know, you're helping them to be more curious. They're going to realize after they meet you, you know, hey, maybe there's other people like this. And, you know, if I met one person like this, there's got to be more, which literally opens up their perception to see more, to see other women as options and availability. You know, you are helping out the ladies. You are helping out all girls, you know. In that way, you know, I don't think other women naturally feel you as threatening. Some of them might, but they soon learn that, like, you're not a threat because you never accept, like, any, like, invitations from people in your environment. Like, I feel like you guys might go on a date here and there with someone in your environment, but in your local environment, but it definitely feels strongly like, I just feel like I needed to take a deep breath, right? It just feels, how do I put this? It just feels like in general, in your local environment, your innate nature is to keep the peace. It's to keep the harmony. It's to keep the peace. It's to keep people from like biting each other, attacking each other. It's that kind of phrase, you know, where you don't like, this is a kind of a crude phrase, but it's like, I think it's like, you don't shit where you eat, something like that. It's one of those things where it's like, you're not going to, you know, get into any relationships in your hometown because, like, that's where your safety net is. That's where you're working with people to build a better community. You know, you're meant to travel back and forth between these two worlds, honestly. Like, you're meant to explore as well as like nurture and take care of the home environment that you're in. Not a big deal. You just need to indulge in them equally. I know often exploring costs money, more money than just staying in one location and living your life from that location. So you do need to keep that in mind, but you also have to keep in mind sometimes there's a feeling of needing to spend a little bit of cash, a little bit of money, you know, fill up that gas tank for that 7-hour drive and go to that town you've never visited before, you know, just experience what it's like, even if it's just a day trip, right? Well, 7 hours, most of your day would be driving, but if you just have a town that's like a couple hours out of reach, go visit that town, see what the people are like, you know, even if it's just a town that you would never think of visiting or doesn't seem that glamorous, go do it, because I'm seeing you will experience people and connections of people who are drawn to you, right? And you will be drawn to them. I really think there's mutual energy here in these foreign lands, you know? For a lot of you, just a heavy reminder, you are very attractive already. You have the mysterious thing going on. You also have the youthful thing with the Page of Wands here. And you have with the Queen of Hearts, just a very attractive, sexually alluring physical body. My men too, like I said, it's very Venusian, right? So you're going to have very Venusian features. So I know with hair with men, like Venusian hair with men, like I remember reading this once about, it's like their hair is has these really beautiful curls to it. There could be like a Greek god, a curliness to your hair or something like that, honestly. So just keep those things in mind, guys, whenever you're feeling low about yourself or you're feeling like a struggle, you know, you are an amazing person. You have gifts of harmonizing your environment through, you know, letting people be more themselves, you know, letting people feel confident that they approached you, you know, even if you're turning them down, you know, you can still boost them with that confidence. And even if you turn them down, a lot of these types I'm seeing, you know, are so neutral in their approach to life or so apathetic in some regards that it kind of just like doesn't phase them as much. Like you don't have to worry about these introverted men approaching you, like their feelings or their sensitivities to an extreme degree. I still say you should approach them lightly or kindly, or reject them lightly and kindly if that's what you're going to do. But overall, there's just a strong feeling of awakening their curiosity in general. And that's going to carry over into other relationships where, you know, they'll probably flirt with some girl somewhere and she'll really like them and they'll actually be really drawn to her too. And they could have a marriage, they could have a relationship. So kind of inadvertently, you're like this weird matchmaker that just sends people on their way. Like, oh, here's your curiosity. You know, now you'll have curiosity about all women and you can go and approach all of them. And one of them will be your person, you know? So you're kind of like helping lonely, like bored men find mates, you know? So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting for some of you. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think that covers the reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I was able to boost you up. I know, you know, this is kind of a reading just about in general about who you are, but sometimes we just need a reflection of that energy just so we can know that we are special. One thing I do want to point out, just to reiterate, because I'm feeling it's important. Remember, you think people are perceiving, you want people to perceive you as reliable. I see that, which is good, right? And not frivolous and a spendthrift and stuff like that. With the Four of Pentacles here, one thing that I am seeing, you can spend some money on some things, and this is something that you perceive other people are thinking of you, but they're not. They're seeing these things. They're seeing how well you manage your life. They're seeing how well you manage your activities, how well you keep things in balance, right? This is kind of more of a self-perception thing that other people aren't really, how do I put it? That other people aren't really, like they don't care about it, right? It's just you care about it. There's some feeling about you care about like saving and penny pinching and like keeping all your wealth to yourself, something like that. So keep that in mind. It's okay to spend every once in a while. Anyway, I'm gonna end your reading there. I could keep going on and on, but I'm gonna end your guys' reading there. Thank you for watching. If you want to help out the channel, please like or comment below. That really helps this channel grow and is appreciated. Also, if you feel like this reading resonated and you want to watch, I'm getting like tongue-tied with you guys. Oh my God, your beauty is coming through the screen. Holy shit. Like I'm just like feeling the intensity. It's like, wow. Okay, so if you want to subscribe and you feel like future readings are going to resonate, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. With that said, I will bid you guys adieu. Thank you for watching and being here today. It was an honor to read for you. Hopefully this helped in some way, shape, or form boost you up, boost your confidence, you know, helped make you feel better about yourself. Honestly, that's kind of what this reading was for. And I hope it worked. All right, see you guys later. Hello, everyone who chose the wolf. This is the physical trait portion of your reading. So we are going to be getting into physical traits here. So let's draw a few of those. And we will get into what I can compliment you about your physicality, what you guys got going on. You know, authentic compliments only, just so you know. And let's see what we have here. We have all of you and touch. Okay, so first thing is people really want to make contact with you. They want to touch you. I feel like people want to touch all over you. That's what I'm seeing. I'm feeling like a lot of people would love to give you a full body massage. That's something that's coming through. I think people like your entire figure and they just go, ooh, I want to touch all of it. You know, it's like I want to be all over it, right? There's a feeling of just like intense attraction to the whole body. We also have tough and natural, right? When you guys act tough, it doesn't come off as forced. It doesn't come off as like inconsistent. I think when you guys have like a tougher side to yourself or you act more tough in a way, especially my men, it doesn't come off as overly masculine. It doesn't come off as overly defensive or alpha male, right? There is this feeling of like, and my women too, it's this feeling of like if you ever get into confrontation, you have to act tough. There's a feeling of it coming off very naturally. It's not like an overconfidence thing. If you're worried you're going to appear overconfident, you're going to appear like you're trying too hard, it doesn't seem like that. When you act tough, it seems very natural and it flows pretty effortlessly what other people see, essentially. We have walk, we have photos, and we have kissing. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember if this group, because I'm doing the physical traits after, and I can't remember if this group had a thing with rejecting people. I think they did. Let me look at your guys' cards real quick. The mystery. Yeah, I think that was part of this group, is that they had to like reject people softly. I feel like photos of you kissing people makes people walk away. Like it might be like if they're kind of like, oh, darn it, they're with someone, and then they like back off, something like that. That could be a really nice way to do something for someone in a way where they also like get the hint, right? Like a photo of you kissing someone, or like even if it's kissing someone on the cheek or just showing affection through a kiss, that might actually be enough to make someone walk away. And this could just be like kissing one of your girlfriends, right? This could just be like kissing one of your girlfriends on the cheek or something like that. Also with walk and photos, taking photos on walks or when you're out in the world, and especially if you have like I'm seeing also like I don't know why this message is coming through, but like kissing babies or something, like a politician. Like I'm getting this feeling like you walk the walk or you walk the talk, whatever that phrase is, that you're important, right? And so like people like maybe even in public want to take photos of you, something like that. There's something along the lines of like the message is like kissing babies, walking the talk, stuff like that. I feel like people feel like you're important. So this comes across in your photos. I feel like when you guys take photos, you seem important or you seem significant in your photos, something like that. Okay, let's see what else we have. We have underwear, we have nose, and we have curious to see more. Okay. I don't want to get too deeply into like sexual stuff. I'm trying not to, even though a lot of these messages are coming through for some people, like for some of these groups. With underwear, nose, and curious to see more, there is something about people wanting to know the scent of your underwear, right? With nose and underwear here, they feel like something about your undergarments would smell good, something like that. Also curious to see more with underwear just means that people want to see what you've got going on underneath. There could be a little bit of a sexual kind of thing here where they want to see you a little more undressed, right? Let's see. Talking, we have eye contact, and we have abdomen. This is funny. Another group had this where people would touch their chest when they were talking to them. Well, with talking and eye contact, I feel like when you talk to people, like you look at them. And I think this kind of makes people feel like a gut sensation. There's this feeling of like, whoa, my stomach is turning, you know, like this is so intense, right? And so with talking and eye contact, especially when you look at people and are talking to them, this kind of gives them the sense that like, wow, this person's really interested in me, or wow, I'm like making a connection, or wow, like I'm going into their inner world, something like that. With abdomen here, there's this feeling that people get, I'm getting it actually in my abdomen right now. It's like an upset stomach feeling, or like a butterflies in my stomach. So yeah, that's something that, you know, is a compliment because people leave feeling like that was a good thing. They don't feel like leaving like, oh, I feel queasy from them. It's not like that. It's like, oh, I feel good. Like I feel nervous around them. Man, it was like a really it feels like an adrenaline rush kind of experience when you look at people and talk to them at the same time and make that eye contact. We have torso and style. There might be some way you guys, how do I put it? Like style your torso. So like the way I view a torso is like, you know, the whole torso in general. So it could be like belts that you're wearing, particular belts, or there could be something about certain jeans that you wear that style your torso really nicely. This is going to depend on different people watching this, because I'm seeing like maybe you guys all, like some people have different torsos watching this, but it's the way you style your torso. So what clothes you put around it. Also, I'm seeing something about like tops, and I'm seeing also like, I know arms is not in here, but I'm getting very much like arms and like bracelets that are by the torso, something like that. Let's see. And then we also have makeup and soft. I think the way you guys do your makeup is in a very soft kind of way. This message, like straight up, won't apply to my men unless, you know, you're some of my men that wear makeup. But if you are not a man that wears makeup and you choose not to wear makeup, with soft and makeup, this message won't apply. But yeah, I think that, yeah, there's this feeling with, how do I put this? With soft and makeup, it's just like You guys do your makeup in a really soft way. It's extremely intriguing. I feel like aesthetically, you guys know how to put yourself together. That's kind of what I'm seeing for a lot of you. Like aesthetically, you know how to put yourself together. There's strong vibes of that. Also going back to underwear nose and curious to see more. I know I didn't want to get too sexual and I'm still not going to, but you might attract people that are or people that are really drawn in by like your smell, right? Or something like that. And it intrigues them to want to see you in a more like vulnerable way, like in your underwear or something like that. Or it might like provoke them to ask more questions, something like that. There's something about your natural odor or even the perfume you wear if you do wear perfume or cologne if you're a man. There's something about people wanting to like explore you with scents and smells and stuff like that. I mean, this is something that is very like pheromones, right? Like part of your mystery that you guys have could be due to like specific pheromones that you're emitting that just attract people like crazy. Like you guys just hit the genetic lottery with your pheromones or something like that. That's kind of what I'm seeing. So with that said, I bid you guys adieu. Thank you again for watching this reading. If you feel like the reading resonated, you can like or comment below. It really helps out the channel. So if you want to do that, that's great. If you feel like for future reading, I get so tongue-tied with you guys. Like you're so like, I don't know. I think this was the group that I got like nervous around for some reason when I was reading your cards. If you would like to subscribe because you feel like future readings would resonate, you can do that as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next pick a card. Bye.